that gives you a lot of vibe of positivity and happiness. All right, that's what your brain needs. Anyways, we'll not get into details of all that right now. Let's get started with the R2E. All right, that's the name of the session, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For the sake of it, just because Shetty sir has compelled, we'll attend. All right, that's not the objective. All right, so friends, we've spent almost 120 hours minimum 120 hours in the past 4 to 5 months. All right, in today's session, we are going to look at all those hours that we have spent together in 3 hours. All right, the session is of 3 hours. We are going to start right from your first session that we all attended till the latest session that we have concluded. All right. So on this note, let's get started. 200% energy required. My headache to ensure that you guys are focusing in the session. I want you to do one exercise. Am I audible? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
I want you to do one exercise. Keep that material that you got. All right. It's a 50-page material. If you see, it's been designed in such a way that section wise, in each and every chapter, we have got the quick highlight of what that section is. Are you guys understanding? Yes, there in the session.
Yes, sir.
Just you do. Keep that material open. What we are going to do is we are going to parallelly use the presentations as well that we had made earlier, so that you quickly get a glimpse of the entire chapter. As and when I finish a topic, you keep ticking on the left side of the section, on the material, on the left side, just keep ticking. Why? It'll give you a flavor of what all we have covered. Goes unsaid. We have 3 hours. We have to cover a syllabus that we have covered earlier for almost 100 hours or odd. So we have to give our 200%. Are you guys there in the session?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good to see all of my previous batch students as well. Very happy. Each one of you, forget about everything else. Next 3 hours, the only girlfriend, the only boyfriend that we have, maybe if you're married, then your husband or wife, as the case may be, is company law and other allied law. So this entire session is going to be of 3 hours. 2 hours, we are going to spend quality time on company law. 1 hour, we are going to spend on allied law as much as completed. Goes unsaid. There are a few topics which we haven't touched upon in our regular session, so that we'll keep it open. The rest, we are going to start. Good morning, everyone. Can we begin?
Good morning.
Good
morning,
sir. All right. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. All right. Keep your material open. Let's get started. The first slide of your sessions, if you remember, was this: corporate and other laws. Paper 2, rules are simple. Ensure that you enjoy the syllabus. Let's get started. All right. So we are going to spend 2 hours on looking into these sections. The first, we understood what exactly is the history of the Companies Act. We understood Companies Act as a chapter. From where is it coming? What is it coming? And why are we even reading the Companies Act of 2013? Before Companies Act of 2013, we had immediately preceding act called as the Companies Act of 1956. So before that, did we have something? Yes, we did. That was called as the Companies Act of 1850. Most important, Pre-Independence Act. Pre-Independence Act. Couple of important things that you will have to remember is Companies Act came into picture with 470 sections, or rather, I'm talking about Companies Act of 2013 came into picture with 470 sections and 7 schedules. Very, very important, effective from 1st April 2014 onwards. All right. Presidential assent on 29th and official gazette was on 30th. Somewhere we have touched upon all of these. Rather, official gazette 30th and presidential assent later on, if you remember. All right. If you don't, it's okay. Remember, we are talking about Companies Act 2013. Next, we went on to understand how do we read the entire act. Your act is bifurcated or divided into chapters. Chapters are further divided into sections. Sections are further divided into subsections. Subsections are further divided into clauses and subclauses. What are these? It's as good as you're reading the Harry Potter novel. Novel is going to have multiple chapters. Every chapter is going to have a context. It's going to have a topic which you're going to talk about. All right. And that topic is going to have a sub-story. Story is going to have an incident. Incident is going to have an event. The same way your entire act is also defined and designed. All right. Important thing that you have to remember is every section is having two important aspects. One called as explanation. Explanation gives the meanings of terms that we are using. Example, what is equity share? What is preference share? Where do you get to know? You get to know from the explanation to section 43 subsection 1. All right. Now, second aspect to this you have to remember is proviso. What is the meaning of the word proviso? Proviso is carving out exceptions, carving out any extreme situations which will not be covered by the section or the clauses is coming in your provisos. Very important thing you have to remember, we need formats, sir. We are born to copy. That's our birthright. All right. So where do we get that? You get that in your schedules. So in your Companies Act of 2013, you have 7 schedules. Important thing that you will have to remember is Schedule 2 talks about your depreciation. Schedule 3 talks about your financial statement. Another important thing that you will have to remember is Schedule 7 talks about your CSR, where, when, why. We are going to look into it later on. So whenever I want to make changes in the act, how do I do this? It's going to be through your amendments. And amendment is going to bring about a change in the act in itself. All right. Now, amendment does not mean that you and I over the WhatsApp call or a normal call, we are going to discuss and close it out. No, it's going to be laid down before the parliament and parliament is going to approve it. And that's when it is going to be called as an amendment. All right. Then we went on to understand what is the concept of company. So section 2 clause 20 defines the word company. Company means a company which is incorporated under this act or under any previous company law. The phrase under other previous law has its own significance. If they wouldn't have mentioned this, Infosys, your dad's investment, Wipro, my mom's investment, everything would have gone for a toss. I'm giving these examples because they were incorporated under the previous company law. Does not mean I'm endorsing these investments. I hope I'm clear. All right. Markets are subject to risk. Read the documents carefully. Next, sir, whatever you just blabbed, we didn't understand because you've just given the definition and I don't understand the meaning of it. So what exactly is the meaning? Meaning of the word company, it's a group of people who come together for the purpose of carrying on the business. And they're going to contribute something. And what is the contribution? Contribution is going to be called as a capital. All right. Now, very important thing. Why are we doing this? So that we can reap benefits out of it. It could be in the form of capital appreciation, or it could be in the form of dividend. Very important thing. Very, very important thing. Is it mandatory for every company to give in the form of dividend? Maybe, may not be. Not every company is bound to give dividend. Very important. It's up to me. Classic example, Microsoft. Another very important example. If you've heard of Berkshire Hathaway, all right, Berkshire Hathaway of Warren Buffett is a company which does not believe in giving dividends. All right, no dividend. So then why does someone invest? It is investment because of the capital appreciation. Yesterday 10 rupees, today 12 rupees. Don't go and invest in companies like Tesla because yesterday 100 rupees, today 200 rupees, tomorrow 20 rupees. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Now, we went on to understand the concept of applicability. Very important. Section 1 talks about your applicability. To whom all is this act applicable? Companies Act is applicable to all those companies which are companies under this act or under any previous law. Important thing that you have to remember, is it applicable to insurance company? Yes. Banking company? Yes. Companies which are engaged in the generation or supply of electricity, is it applicable? Yes. Sir, however, in case if there's any inconsistency between their respective acts and the Companies Act, which act will you follow? You're going to follow your respective act. And who's giving an answer to this? It is coming from your Companies Act itself. All right. To whom else is it applicable? It is applicable to all those body corporates, all those companies which are coming into picture because of a notification, because of an act of the parliament. Now, this is what is the applicability of Companies Act. Characteristics of companies, again, not really something that I want to spend much time on it. Separate legal entity, it's an artificial person. Is it a citizen? Answer is no, it's not a citizen. We went on to understand, sir, does it have a nationality? Answer is yes, it has nationality and residence. What is the concept of limited liability? Classic example of the Chota Beam Private Limited. Same example, I'm not even changing any of my slides. Then we went on to understand the concept of perpetual succession. Very important concept that we had touched upon was exception to limited liability. What is the meaning of this? Here, the liability is not going to remain limited, then unlimited. Sell your house, sell your kidney, sell yourself, bring in the money. This is the concept of unlimited liability. Now, when does this happen? This comes into picture in a couple of scenarios. First one, where the wrong members have wrongly presented or given false information. Second, incorporated by given false information, section 7, subsection 7. Then, where the company is just created for the purpose of defrauding creditors or wound up for the purpose of defrauding creditors. I've taken money from you guys and now I'm winding up my business. Why? Because I wanted to defraud you guys. Now, if that is the intention, your liability is going to become unlimited. One last point. If the prospectus has been given to defraud the applicants or false information is given in the prospectus, or where you fail to give deposits where you fail to repay your deposits and it is approved, it is proved that it is intentional, then in that case, your liability is going to become unlimited. A couple of other points that we revolve around your characteristics. Lifting of corporate veil as a concept. Again, guys, these are topics which are there in CA Foundation, but high possibilities of being asked even now. All right. What is the concept of lifting of corporate veil? Corporate veil means the entire concept of statutory responsible, the entire concept of statutory existence which is being given to you, a legal status which is being given to you, please use it for your purpose of business. Don't misuse it. No, sir, I want to misuse it. If you misuse it, I'm going to open the curtains. I'm going to lift the curtains and check who's that person who's carrying out this activity for the purpose of defrauding the creditors. Sir, what will happen in case if you lift the curtains? All the debts and obligations of the company will become unlimited, and the directors and the members of the company are going to be personally liable for all those debts and obligations. Or else what's the fun in even learning about it? All right. Then we went on to understand what will happen. Very important on the last topic on this entire section. That is section 464. Sir, I want to carry on business with more than 50 people. Is it okay? Listen, no, you can't. You cannot carry on business with more than 50 people unless and until you are registering yourself as a company. All right. Sir, I want to start a partnership firm. Unregistered partnership firm, 51 people. Can I do so? No. You cannot do so. And who's prohibiting you from doing this? Section 461, 464 of the Companies Act is prohibiting you from doing this. Understanding? Sir, LLP, one LLP, if you remember, Ernst & Young, that we'd seen 363 partners. How is it possible, sir? Because that is being carved out as an exception. All right. So if you are an association of partnership only for professional activities, you are not bound by section 464. Another thing, HUF, all right, if you are carrying on your business, I can't have any restriction. Ask your parents, ask your grandparents, ask your great-grandparents. Probably 2 or 3 cricket teams might be running around in the family itself. I hope you understand. All right. What am I trying to drive here? In case of HUF, there's a possibility that the number of members might be more than 50. And if they are carrying on the business, I have no problem. First exception, HUF. Second exception, LLP. Third exception, any professionals who are carrying on any association of business, all right, for the purpose of rendering professional services, that is also not going to be included within the ambit of section 464. Extremely important topic that we have touched upon. All right, next. Sir, minor is counted as a member only at the time of majority. Minor partner, do you remember?
Minor admitted for the
Called as minor partner. So when I'm not even including him in the partnership, he's just being admitted for the benefits of partnership. He's not even included. Now, how can you include him for the purpose of this calculation of 50? Don't include him. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Sir, no, sir, you yell at the top of your voice. We will not listen to you. No problem. The moment it is an illegal association, everything is going to be null and void. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Sir, apart from that, whatever is null and void, important thing that you have to remember is, sir, can that be wound up? Very important question. Sir, since it is null and void, can we wind it up? Answer is when something didn't take birth itself. How can you wind it up? All right. When something didn't take birth itself, how can you wind it up? Didn't understand, sir. I repeat. Let's assume Anjana has started a partnership firm. What do you want to sell? She wants to sell sari. If she was selling her ideas as advisory business, it becomes a professional association that can carry on more than 50. Don't forget. All right. But she's selling saris, 51 members, 51 lucky number, Shagunta number. Now listen to me very, very carefully. She's selling saris, 51 members through a partnership firm. It's an illegal association since it is unregistered. First thing, it is unregistered, illegal association. The third point, can this be wound up when something was illegal? That means it was null and void ab initio. All right. What is the meaning of the word void ab initio? Something didn't take right from inception. It is null. When something is null and void, when something is void ab initio right from inception, when something didn't take birth itself, how can you create death for such situations? All right. Here in this situation, can that partnership firm be wound up? You can't talk about winding up because that never took birth itself. This is the whole topic on your section, on your chapter 1. I hope we are good to continue with the second chapter. All right.
Yes.
The second chapter is incorporation of companies. Extremely important topic. Don't enter the examination hall without reading this chapter. As simple as that. All right. So what is this topic all about? 25 to 40% is going to be from this bucket. If you see, this bucket has 4 chapters: preliminary, incorporation, prospectus, and share capital. All right. So preliminary is done. Now we are talking about share capital. Section 2 talks about your definition. Section 3 talks about your formation of company. Sir, in case if you want to form a company, you can go ahead and form a company. But listen, if it is a private company, I need 2 or more members. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. 2 or more persons. If it is a private company, 2 or more persons. If it is a public company, 7 or more persons. If it is a 1-person company, only 1 person. Who is going to be the subscriber to the memorandum? What is the meaning of the word subscriber? The first shareholder of the company is going to be called as the subscriber. Now, indirectly, I'm saying if you're a subscriber, that means you're a shareholder. If you're a shareholder, just being a shareholder is not okay. I want you to be a member. So in case of a private company, I need 2 members minimum. In case of a public company, I need 7 members minimum. In case of 1-person company, I need only 1 person as a member. Now, just being a member is okay. No, I want them to be the subscribers to the memorandum. Extremely important and fulfill all the requirements of registration under this act. All right. We went on to understand what is the concept of OPC. Extremely important topic. Section 2, clause 62 defines OPC. OPC means a company which is having only 1 person as a company or as a member. Whatever laws are applicable to a private company applies to OPC as well. Second thing that you will have to remember, in case of OPC, a subscriber is going to be only 1 person. But tomorrow, if anything happens to that 1 person, who's going to carry on the business? It's going to be the nominee. Now, pay attention. Who can become a nominee? Who can become a member? Only if you satisfy 3 conditions. What are the 3 conditions? You have to be a natural person, an Indian citizen, whether resident or not, I don't care. Now, Deepa might have a question suddenly. Sir, last batch you had taught all this. I don't remember. Listen to me. Resident means a person who stayed in India for a period of not less than 120 days. Not 182. Not 182. Not 182. Don't get confused with Income Tax Act. Don't get confused with Income Tax Act. When it comes to Section 6 of your Income Tax Act, where we talk about your residential status under subsection 1, read with subsection 6. Sorry, let me control. The whole point is don't get confused with Income Tax Act. As simple as that. All right. So here, 120 days is the requirement. Earlier, it was 182 days. Then our students started getting confused. Law said, let's confuse them a little more by making it 120 days. All right. So 120 days when, sir? Immediately preceding financial year. Immediately preceding financial year. Earlier, the law was calendar year. Now it is financial year. 200% focus. Sir, we didn't understand. Nothing I found that to understand. Natural person, Indian citizen, whether you're a resident or not, I don't care. Why? Because the entire world is working from home. Now, the fact that you are sitting at the convenience of your home, I'm sitting at my home and I'm teaching. Now, this is the revolution in our entire industry. I don't care whether you're in India or not. No, sir, if I have to be a resident, when can I say I'm a resident? If you've stayed in India for 120 days or not. When, sir? Immediately preceding financial year. Can I be a member in one OPC and a nominee in another OPC? No. It's as good as, can I have one wife at home and another one outside? I don't know. All right. So on this note, we went on to understand the concept of OPC. Then we went on to understand, sir, can it be converted into a public company, private company? 100% yes. Can it be converted into a Section 8 company? No, don't even think about it. Sir, can a Section 8 company itself start its business as OPC? Don't think about it. Not possible. You can't touch the concept of Section 8 with OPC, or OPC cannot touch the concept of Section 8. As simple as that. They are going to be mutually exclusive. You cannot carry on the business accordingly. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. Then we went on to understand the concept of private company under Section 3. Definition, we are going to look at it. Or rather, let's do it right away. Section 2, clause 68 defines the word private company. Private company means a company which by its articles of association has 3 limits: restriction, limitation, prohibition. Restriction on the transferability of shares, limitation on the number of members, not more than 200, and prohibition on inviting public to subscribe to your securities, not shares, not shares. It is securities. All right. To the securities of the company. Now, then we went on to understand, sir, if you want to start a company, you can start it with a company limited by share, limited by guarantee, or in an unlimited company. All right. Classic example of unlimited company. None of you can ever forget. Amway. I hope I'm clear. All right. Then we went on to understand what is unlimited company. We saw the concept of Section 2, clause 68, what is included in 200, what is not included in 200, CA Foundation syllabus. Section 2, clause 71, 200% focus. 2, clause 71 defines public company. Public company means, Apurva, there in the session?
Sir.
Almost there, sir. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, everyone. All right. That's why I insist you to keep your cameras on. Becomes easier for me to focus on the people. So coming back to the point, section 2 clause 71 defines a public company. What is public company? Simple, not a private company. Is this going to be asked in examination? No. What is going to be asked in examination is the proviso. The proviso says, in case if you are a subsidiary of a public company, even though you might be a private company, I don't care. For the purpose of this entire act, you will be deemed public company. It's as good as my father is Hindu, I will continue being Hindu. All right, by birth. Later on, if you want, you change. No one on earth can stop you. All right. My father is Christian. I continue being Christian by birth. My father is Muslim. I continue being Muslim by birth. What am I trying to say? If my father is a public company, even though I might be private company, I don't care. For the purpose of this entire act, you will be deemed public company. So reverse possible. Father is private company. I am a public company. Will I become a deemed private company? Don't create something which is not there in the act. There's no concept called as deemed private company. You can't deem private companies. You already know you're a public company. And what is the objective of this? The objective is to ensure that you are regulated. You're regulated. All right. The moment you're a public company, you're higher on radar always. You're being regulated more than a private company. That's the whole objective. All right. Next. Deemed public company as a concept we've looked into. We went on to understand section 2 clause 85. There's an amendment here. Pay attention. Section 2 clause 85 defines the word small company. Small company means a company which is satisfying two conditions: paid up capital and turnover. How much is the paid up capital? 4 crores. And turnover 40 crores. There's an amendment here. There's an amendment here. Don't worry. During the regular sessions, we are going to have an exhaustive session only on amendment. Right now, pay attention. Pay attention. Earlier, the limit was 2 crores and 20 crores. Before that, the limit was something else. All right. It was 50 lakhs and 2 crores. Now the limit is simpler. 2 crores, 20 crores. That has got amended to 4 crores, 40 crores. All right. Now, both the conditions have to be satisfied. 100% both the conditions have to be satisfied, or else you're not a small company. What cannot be called as a small company? Public companies, holding companies, subsidiary companies, Section 8 companies, those companies which are brought into existence by any special act. Example, LIC. LIC, even though, first of all, they can't. But even though, let's assume they're satisfying these conditions, but still, since it is brought into picture through a special act of LIC Act itself, it cannot be called as a small company. I hope I'm clear. Keep it aside. There's no possibility of LIC being called as a small company. Otherwise also. All right. Next point. Holding and subsidiary relationship. I hope your entire discussion in accounting might have already been discussed this. All right. So holding and subsidiary relationship. Subsidiary company is defined under section 2 clause. Very important. Very important. Section 2 clause 87. Section 2 clause 85. It is alphabetically arranged. It is alphabetically arranged. Don't get confused. All right. So subsidiary means a company in relation to another company where two conditions are being satisfied. Any of these. First, where I decide who is going to be your board of directors. You are controlled by me indirectly. So you become my subsidiary. Second condition, where I don't control your composition of board of directors, but I have more than 1/2 of the total voting power in your company. You are controlled by me. So you are my subsidiary. This voting power can either be held by me on its own or along with my other subsidiaries. I hope you remember almost 10 to 12 different scenarios that we had analyzed during our classes. All right, during our regular session. I hope each one of you are getting a fair idea of the topic that we're discussing. There in the session, associate company defined under section 2 clause 6. Sir, if I have more than 50%, you become my subsidiary. If I have exactly 50%, you become my associate company. Sir, till when or from when does your associate company start? At least 20% should be held. So greater than or equal to 20% up to 50%, you will be called as my associate company. What is the language used in the law? Significant influence. Where I have a significant influence in another company, that company is going to be my subsidiary, my associate company. Very important thing. What is significant influence? At least 20% of your business is being controlled by me. It could be a business. It could be total voting power. Ideally, we use the concept of total voting power. I hope I'm clear, everyone. We went on to solve a couple of RTPs. Sir, members have fallen below 7 or 2. Now what? In case if the members have fallen below 7 or 2, pay attention, pay attention. I'm going to give you 6 months. Very, very important. Section 3A is talking about this. If the number of members fall below the minimum requirement, pay attention, question can be picked from here. I'm going to give you 6 months. Within 6 months, please bring in new members. Sir, sorry, I couldn't do so. No problem. Whatever business you've done, you will be personally liable for all the debts. No more liability, limited liability as a concept. Here, personal liability or severally liable for the debts. What is the meaning of this? Sir, 6 months I've given you. Please go ahead, bring another additional partner. All right, a member. Let's assume in a public company, there is a requirement of 7 members. Suddenly, one of the members died. Now, 6 members are there in my company. It's a public company. Law says, I understand the problem. Who has come has to leave the world one day. So I am giving you 6 months. Bring in another member. No, sir, sorry, we forgot. No problem. Now, whatever debts you attract, you are going to be personally liable for that. The language used is severally liable for the debts of the company. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Important concept. All right. Then section 4 talks about your memorandum of association. Very important thing. No class as a topic comes into picture. All right. Name clause, object clause, situation, name clause, object clause, capital clause, liability clause, association clause, and situation clause. Pay attention, everyone. These are only 6 clauses. These are the only 6 clauses which can be possible in an MOA. In case of OPC, there will be another additional clause of nominee. Nominee. Don't forget. All right. I hope you guys are there in the session. Everyone, Chinmay there in the session. Yes, Swini. Doctrines. Sir. 3 important doctrines. MOA, AOA. When it comes to your doctrines, full CA foundation syllabus. But I want you to know this because I will not be surprised if 3 marker or 4 markers come from here. All right. So doctrine of ultra vires. Sir, you can't go beyond your dad at home. You can have only one person who's going to guide, and that's your dad. No, sir, I want to go. No problem. You'll not be visible in the same house again. The same concept applies in your MOA as well. Sir, MOA and Companies Act has already mentioned something. You can't go beyond your MOA and AOA. No, sir, I went. Whatever you do is going to be considered as null and void. This is the concept of doctrine of ultra vires. Second, doctrine of constructive notice. My MOA and AOA are public documents. Please read these documents carefully before entering into our transactions with me. All right. Why? Because these documents are public notices. These are as good as notices which I'm giving it to you. If you don't read these documents and then enter into a transaction with me, then it is your headache. You will be liable for it. The third one, doctrine of indoor management. Just because I have ultra vires and doctrine of constructive notice does not mean that an outsider will know everything that is happening in my company. So an outsider can presume whatever internal policies and procedures are there that has been followed by the company. This is also called as Turquin's rule, doctrine of indoor management. Next, Article 5 talks about Section 5 talks about your articles of association. This gives us how the affairs of the company are going to be managed. All right, who's going to manage it? How is it going to be managed? All these things are coming in your articles of association. Then we went on to one of the most important concepts, which is usually asked in examination: entrenchment of articles of association. What is the meaning of this? I want to make it stricter. I want to make it stricter than what it is. All right. Let's assume my law says, as per the Companies Act, it says minimum you must have 2 members in a private company. I say in my company, minimum 5 members have to be there. Even though I'm a private company, minimum 5 members should be there. What am I doing? I am stipulating, I am providing for rules and regulations which are stricter than what the Act requires. What is this called? Entrenchment of articles of association. Important thing that you have to remember. If it is a private company, I need unanimous resolution. What is the meaning of the word unanimous resolution? 100% of the members have to agree. All right. If I'm not a private company, if I'm a public company, pay attention. Special resolution has to be passed if I am a public company. Are you guys able to recall? Guys, I am sure you might not remember everything. It's okay. Try to recall. That's more important. That's the whole objective of this session. All right. So private company, unanimous resolution. Public company, special resolution. 75%. If you remember. Do you remember the concept? 3/4 of your total number of votings. We're going to discuss. Don't worry if you don't. All right. Next topic. What are the formats given in the Act? Sir, I override the Act. What is going to happen? Section 6 says every resolution contract which is not in line with the Companies Act is going to be considered as void. Then Section 7 talks about your incorporation of companies. How are you going to incorporate? What is the mechanism? Everything is given in your Section 8. Section 7, effect of registration. The moment you are registered, Section 9 says all those characteristics that you learned in CA Foundation days will become effective. All right. Separate legal entity. You're going to have limited liability. Whatever you mentioned in your characteristics, those are going to be effective. And this is what is coming from Section 9. So that means Section 8 is omitted from the syllabus. No, Section 8 cannot be omitted. Section 8 is the only place where the company can carry on business without profits. That itself would have. Not possible. Companies Act itself is going to be incomplete. All right. So section 8, we are going to discuss separately. Section 10 talks about effect of MOA and AOA. Sir, I have purchased the shares of the company. Have I entered into an agreement with the company? Answer is no. Subscribers, their names are mentioned. So it is as good as, since they have mentioned their names, they have entered into agreement. I have purchased the shares of Infosys today. Have I entered into an agreement with Infosys? Answer is no. I have purchased the shares from a stock exchange. There might have been someone else. Now, why should I be bound by AOA and MOA of Infosys? Did I enter into a contract with Infosys? Answer is no. Section 10 says, even though you have not entered into a contract with Infosys directly, but still, the moment you become a member of the company, MOA and AOA is effective even on you. All right, because you're a member of the company. You're the member of the company. Understanding, everyone? Yes. So section 10 says MOA binds the companies with the outsiders and binds the members with the company as well. All the monies which are payable is the debt due by the members. Anything which is payable by the members to the company is going to be the debts due by the members to the company. As simple as that. It was a share of 10 rupees, 6 rupees paid, 4 rupees pending. It's the debt which is due by the members to the company. As simple as that. Understood, everyone? Yes. Section 10A talks about, sir, just because you are incorporated does not mean that you are going to carry on the business. All right. You will have to take the approval from the registrar. You will have to file the document of commencement of business. Very important. Very, very important. Just because you've got the certificate of incorporation does not mean that you can start your business. Section 10A says that in case if you want to start your business, you will have to file a declaration. Who, sir? Directors have to file a declaration. Within how many days, sir? Within 180 days from the date of incorporation. Sir, what should they declare, sir? Nothing, I found out. Just declare that whoever have mentioned their name, those heroes, subscribers, have you received the money from them or not? First point. Second point, the company has to file verification of the registered office. This was one of the most interesting points that we had discussed. If you remember, anyone can just give me a hint. Why is this important?
Shell companies.
Shell companies. Kolkata, one office, 3,000 companies registered. Do you remember? The same example. And what I'm talking is there in news. You can Google it later. All right. One office, 3,000 companies registered. People realize that people are just creating companies for the purpose of all their illicit activities, illegal activities. I don't want all that. Give me the verification of your registered office as well. Now, that's why Section 10A came into picture. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Where no declaration is given, your daddy has the power to what? To believe that you're not even existing, you're not doing any business. He's going to strike off your name from the register of companies. As simple as that. All right. Section 12 talks about Section 11. What is Section 11?
Omitted.
It is omitted. Happy? All right. Section 12 talks about registered office. Sir, where should my registered office be? In your MOA, you're going to give the state in which your registered office is going to be. Sir, should I have the registered office at the time of incorporation? At the time of incorporation, no, not compulsory. But don't forget, within 30 days, you must have your incorporation done in a particular registered office. All right. Incorporation, you incorporate. I have no problem. But after incorporation, I'm giving you 30 days. Get in a place. Sir, no, sir, I forgot. Indirectly, I have tightened the screw under Section 10A by saying that you have to verify your address there. 30 days, I'll give you a registered office. No, sir, I won't. Don't worry. I'll wait till 180 days. Because till 180 days, you have to give the declaration within 180 days. All right. If you don't give the declaration also, you don't have an office. You have not given the declaration. I will assume that you don't exist itself. All right. Understood, everyone? Crystal clear with the concept? Yes. Can I change my registered office? 100% yes. Registered office can be changed from one place to another. In Form INC 22, you have to inform your daddy that you have changed your registered office. All right. Within 30 days. Very important. This in itself can come as a question for MCQ. 1 month. Next, labeling of company. Sir, if you go to any of the companies, you see their standard formats. You might have seen their letterheads. You might have seen the boards which are there outside the company. They can't follow any fancy format that they want. You follow whatever you want, but I want this information. What information, sir? Information talking about name, address. What exactly is your SIN? Give me the email ID. If you have a website, please give me that as well. Where are you from? Incorporated office, in seal, whichever seal you use, whatever documents you talk about, wherever your incorporated office is, I need this information available here. All right. Let's assume on the boards of my office. Give me these details which you see on the second column. I want to send a notice on the notice letterhead. I want the information which you see on the right side. We've seen a couple of examples as well during our sessions, if you remember.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next. Sir, let's assume I've changed the name of the companies. All right. I will give you a time. All right. You will have to give the old name as well for 2 years. All right. Right after you change of the name, 2 years, you're going to give your old name as well. That's why if you see any company which has changed their name, classic example, after the session, go check. All right. MAY'23 was acquired by L&T Infotech. Even till date, they give the information within the brackets, formerly known as MAY'23. Do a little bit of research, homework, you will realize whatever we are discussing is practically being applied. All right. This is about the name change. Sir, I want to change the MOA itself. If you can't change the girl, just change the girl. If you can't change the guy, just change the guy. Section 13 is also talking about it. Sir, in case if you want to change the name of the company, I need special resolution and central government approval. All right. Second, sir, what if I'm a public company which is converted into private or vice versa? Remove the name private. Start using word public if you wish to. Sir, I don't want to use the word public. Is that okay? 100%. Yes, it is okay. It is not mandatory that every public company needs to use the word public. But if I'm a private company, 100% I have to use the word private in my name. Are you guys understanding what we are talking?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next, central government approval is required. No separate approval is required if you want to add or delete the words. Very important. Object clause. Sir, in case if you want to change your object clause, special resolution is required. Don't forget, object clause is one of the most important, or else your entire discussion on doctrine of ultra vires will go in vain. Doctrine of ultra vires will go in vain. All right. We've seen a couple of examples on this note. We saw the entire discussion on liability clause, capital clause, subscription clause. Whenever you want to make any of the changes, I have to pass a special resolution. Subscription clause cannot be changed. Example, who was the first man who stepped on moon? Can that be changed? Even if it is your great grandchildren who are staying with you, assume, all right, still your answer is going to be the same. What your great grandfather gave you. I hope I'm clear. Everyone, yes? The same way, subscription clause cannot be altered. This was asked in one of the examination, and I was surprised that students have written pass special resolution and change the subscription clause. Wow. It's as good as after 2 years, you are going to tell me Neil Armstrong was not the first person, someone else had stepped first. All right. Anyways, next point. Sir, I want to change the registered office. Change within the city, no problem at all. Is the screen visible? Yes.
Yes,
Within the
sir.
city,
Yes, sir.
pass a board resolution. Will there be an alteration in MOA? Answer is no. City to city, pass a special resolution. But will there be an alteration in MOA? Answer is no. Why? Because in MOA, you give state, you don't give city details. You're not giving your full address. I hope I'm clear. All right. Sir, let's assume it is from state to state. Central government approval and special resolution. Both are required, and alteration of MOA is going to come into picture. ROC to ROC. Classic example that we had given. If you remember, Mumbai. The same example, and Thane. Special. Both are within both are within Maharashtra itself. Mumbai and Thane. Both are within Maharashtra itself. But two different ROCs. Let's assume I want to move from Mumbai to Thane. Thane is a place, all right, in Maharashtra. Now, if I want to move from Mumbai to Thane, the registrar is changing. But is my state changing? Answer is no. But however, listen to me very carefully. Special resolution, RD approval. Don't take central government approval. Just take your RD approval, alter your MOA. All right. Ideally, in MOA, you have to just bring in one point that my registrar is going to change. All right. If I don't change, is that okay? 100% it might be okay, because you might not have given the registrar details anyways in your MOA. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. Next point. Alteration of AOA. Pass a special resolution. Within 15 days, you're going to inform your ROC. All right. Rectification of name. Very important. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Can you open your material? There's a small change there. There's an amendment there. Can you open your material?
Yes, sir.
Quick. Section 16. All right. Rectification of name of the company. Let's assume I'm using the name of another company which is already existing. Let's assume even I want to start a company called as MRF itself, and I'm using the name of the MRF itself. First of all, is it possible? Answer is no. I have shown it to you how, when, where, why on MCA platform. However, there was one exception as well, which we saw. One company which was in Assam having another company in Karnataka. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, ideally, you can't have similar names. No, sir, we have similar names. No problem. You will be forced to change. If the central government gets to know, then central government is going to ask you to change the name. First thing. Second thing, the other person can go ahead. The company which is in Assam can go ahead and file an application with the central government, telling that there's someone else who is using my name. Based on this application, central government is going to issue the directions to you, asking you to change your name. Asking you to change your name. Once you receive the directions, within 3 months, you have to change your name. Within 3 months, you have to change your name. I hope the R2 or R2E sessions material which you have is the updated one. And this is what is reflecting in the thing as well. All right. Earlier it was 6 months. Earlier it was 6 months. Now it is going to be 3 months. I hope I'm clear. The moment you get the instructions, you're supposed to change your name within 3 months. Now, Section 17 talks about copies of MOA, AOA given to the member. Whichever member wants an MOA, AOA, or any other copies, and if he requests the company has to give it to the members. No, sir, we won't give. No problem. If you don't give, 7 days, I'm giving it to you. Within 7 days, if you don't give, you will become a company which is defaulting, and every officer who is in default will also be penalized. How much is the penalty? 1,000 rupees per day. 7 days, as good as your monthly stipend. I hope I'm clear. All right. Next, conversion of company. Can a private company be converted into public company? 100% yes. Can a public company be converted into private company? 100% yes. Pay attention. Pay attention. Can a Section 8 company be converted into another company? 100% yes. Pay attention. OPC be converted into a public or private company? 100% yes. Can a private company be converted into OPC? 100% yes. Can a OPC be converted into Section 8 company? Answer is
No, sir.
don't ever let OPC and Section 8 come together. They can't exist together. It's as good as France and Ukraine as of now. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Russia and Ukraine as of now. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. Most of you just nod your head for the sake of anything. Even if I say Rajasthan and Ukraine, you will be like, ah, sir, correct. You're right. Can a subsidiary hold shares in the holding company? Answer is no. You can't tell what your dad is going to do. All right. However, there are 2 exceptions. Very important. Very important. All right. There are 2 exceptions, or rather 3 exceptions, in which Section 19 is talking about this. Subsidiary is not going to hold the shares in the holding company. However, there are 3 exceptions in which the subsidiary is going to be permitted to open their, or to let their subsidiaries hold shares in the parent company. What are those? Quick. Anyone?
Sir, if it is a representative.
Trustee.
Trustee.
And
Representation.
if the shares
Because
are
a shareholder
acquired before
before
even
becoming
becoming
the-
the holding or
Sir, even before becoming my subsidiary, if I was already your shareholder, you can't ask me to leave the company. As simple as that. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. This is on your Section 19. Section 20 talks about service of documents. Section 8, which we had not spoken about, I'm quickly referring it to now. Section 8 talks about those companies. Very, very important. Pay attention. Section 8 companies are formed for the purpose of charitable objects. They cannot declare dividend out of the profits that they generate. No, sir, I'm still going to declare dividend. No problem. You will not remain a Section 8 company anymore. Whatever profits that you generate has to be for the purpose of objectives of the company. Type of company, it is going to be with limited liability. Should I use the word limited or private limited? Not required. Not required. All right. Sir, who's going to give me the status? Central government is going to give the status. They have better things to do. So they have given the power to the ROC. All right. Very important. Sir, can this license be cancelled? 100% yes, this license can be cancelled. If you breach Section 8, or if you are doing something which is fraudulent or prejudicial to the interest of the public, your license will be cancelled. Sir, what will happen if the license is cancelled? Nothing, I Panta. You're just going to be another ordinary company which you're going to use, wherein you're going to use the word limited and private limited, as the case may be. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding, everyone? Section 8. These are a couple of RTP questions that we discussed, and with this, we come to an end of the second chapter as well. All right. Good.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
I find the beauty of these sessions. Trust me, you might not be able to appreciate it now, even though you might not be able to remember everything, but 100 hours coming in front of you in 3 hours is going to give you a flavor of each and every topic. All right, maybe 3 hours or 4.5 hours, whatever it is. All right, it is going to give you a quick flavor of each and every topic. I hope you're able to appreciate what we're doing right now. Anyways, let's continue. All right, the next, what we're going to do is, for the next chapters, we are going to see from the material. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. So the next chapter is your chapter 3 on prospectus. All right. What is this topic talking about? Section 23. Sir, it says, how can I raise money? If you are a public company, you can raise money in the form of from the public through a prospectus. You can do a private placement, only privately raising money. The third one is through your right issue, where you're going to give the rights to the existing members. Please come and take the shares. And the fourth one is bonus issue, where you're not going to ask money, or maybe you might ask reduce money. Ideally, reduce money might not come into picture. You're going to give them free of cost. What are you going to do? Indirectly, I'm capitalizing my profits. The concept is called as capitalization of profits. I hope I'm clear. Accounting there. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, private company can do it only through two means: right issue or bonus issue. And the second one is private placement. Sir, why not going public?
So it's a private.
Prohibits
Restriction.
My entire discussion of 45 minutes will go in vain if I say they can go public, because section 2 clause 68 is not giving you a restriction. It's giving a prohibition. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. This is about section 23. Section 24 talks about documents containing an offer for sale to be deemed as prospectus. Now, what is going to be in this situation? This comes into picture when it is an offer which is being made by me. All right. An offer which is being made by me, pay attention, not directly, but through my agent. All right. I want to raise money. What are the types of prospectus, by the way? Quickly.
Preparing prospectus.
Prospectus, prospectus,
Prospectus,
bridge prospectus.
bridge prospectus, and team prospectus. Do you remember? Pay attention. Pay attention now. What is red herring prospectus? Sir, everything is there except for two things: price,
Quantity and price.
and quantity. Why? The whole point of red herring prospectus is to understand what is my value in the market. How much are people ready to pay for it? Are you guys understanding? That is the concept of red herring prospectus. Second, what is shelf prospectus? Sir, I am a company who's born to beg every now and then. Now, every now and then you can't ask me to prepare prospectus. Now, law says in that case, why don't you prepare one prospectus which is going to be like your bookshelf? You keep putting your books in that shelf. Same example, friends. I'm not even changing the examples if you're able to recall now. All right. Now, the whole point is one prospectus is going to be effective. It can be used for a period of 12 months, and you can raise multiple offers. You can carry out multiple offers through this shelf prospectus. Whenever there's a change, very important, whenever there's a change, issue an information memorandum. It is going to come through your information memorandum. Do you remember? Red herring prospectus is also called as
Information memorandum.
Don't get confused. Two different concepts altogether. Two different concepts altogether. All right. When I'm saying red herring prospectus is also called as information memorandum, it is just a synonym. It is not going to change your concept of red herring prospectus. However, the concept of information memorandum coming into picture in a shelf prospectus is completely different, because here I'm going to give the information of changes compared to my shelf prospectus. The third concept is my abridged prospectus. Sir, who's going to sit and read those 300 pages? Here I can't read my study material itself. I understand your problem. So I'm going to give you an executive summary. All right. That summarized version is called as the abridged prospectus. The fourth one is deemed prospectus. What is the concept of deemed prospectus? Sir, I want to raise money, but I know I can't put in efforts. Let us flip the example. All right. You want to raise the money and you know you can't put in efforts. So what are you going to do? You're going to approach me. You're going to ask me to go ahead and raise the money from the public. Don't forget, it is still going to be considered as your public offer itself. Whatever document I use to raise the money will be considered as your prospectus. It is deemed to be your prospectus. Same example, same discussion that we had earlier. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Now, section 26 talks about matters to be stated in the prospectus. You have your general information, you have your financial information, and you have statutory information. Do you remember? Yes, there in the session. Yes. So what is general information? Give me the general information about your company. Who are you? Where are you? Where are you going to use the funds? Statutory information. Sir, please give me what all rules and regulations. Have you followed all the rules and regulations of the IPO? Are there any changes which you are not supposed to do? Have you done anything? Give me the details of all the statutory requirements. Financial information, very important. This gives me the details of your finances, past history, and future projections. Everything is going to be covered as a part of my financial information. I hope I'm clear, everyone. GFS, same example. GFS, general information, financial information, statutory information. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. Now, once this is done, you're going to give, this is going to be dated, this is going to be signed, and this is going to be made public. Very, very important. Before you go public, it has to be filed with your ROC. Sir, I want to change the terms and conditions which I had mentioned in the prospectus. In prospectus, I told I'm raising the money for the purpose of software. I've raised the money. Now I want to use it for real estate. Is it possible? First thing, answer is no. Answer is no. General piece of law first, answer is no. No, sir, I still want to do it because it's not profitable to carry on software business right now. American markets are falling. Now what? I will give you an option to use your fund somewhere else, but wait, you will have to satisfy the condition. The terms cannot be altered without the approval by a special resolution. The details of such resolution has to be given in the newspaper. Company not to use that amount realized by it through the prospectus for any other listing equity activities. The dissenting shareholders have to be given an exit off. Very important after your special resolution. Let's assume there are few people who say, no, sir, I still want you to carry on software business itself. In a very subtle language, law has given you the permission to ask them to leave. Leave. Why should I leave? I will give you an exit offer as well. Don't worry. Whatever you're leaving, at that point of time, whatever valuation has to be done, I'm going to carry out a valuation and I'm going to give you the funds for that. All right. So this is going to be called as your exit offer. Do you remember all of this? We discussed.
Yes,
all right.
Yes,
Section 28 talks about offer of sale, OFS. What is the concept of OFS? Offer for sale is a concept where your promoters want to sell their stake. Classic example, Azim Premji. All right. Wipro, 75%. All right. Let's assume sir was holding 80%. Now, as per SEBI, you can't hold more than 75. Assume there's a law. Assume there's a law. Now, 5% of Wipro, Azim Premji just can't go ahead and sell it in the stock market. I hope you understand the selling pressure. Higher the demand, higher is the price. Lower the demand, but higher the selling pressure, your price is going to fall down majorly. Your price is going to fall down. Basic economics, nothing I funda. Basic economics that we are talking about. I hope you're understanding, everyone. Yes. So now in this case, what should I do? Azim Premji is going to ask the company, sir, please Wipro, listen to me, take this 5%. Why don't you offer it to public? Let public come and subscribe it. It is as good as a public offer being made by Wipro. But whose share? Azim Premji's share. Now, this is the concept of OFS. I hope you understand, everyone. Now, this is under section 28. Next. Section 29. Public offers or securities to be in dematerialized form. Whenever you're making a public offer, it has to be in the dematerialized form. You can't give paper certificates. There's no concept of physical certificates or physical issues. What is dematerialized form? It has to be through your NSDL or CDSL. Either of this, you don't have any other option. It has to be through the depositories. Are you guys understanding, everyone? The depository participants. Next point. Section 31, we've understood what is the concept of shelf prospectus. Section 32, red herring prospectus. Section 34, criminal liability. By mistake, you've given wrong information. No problem. It will be considered as a criminal liability for whatever information that you have given. Very, very important. Not just that. Not just that. Liable under section 447, one of the most dangerous penalty provisions. Apart from that, sir, if you have given wrong information, you will not just have a criminal liability, a civil liability also will be initiated in case if you have given misstatements in the prospectus. By mistake, if you have given wrong information, then section 35 is also going to be triggered. Section 36 talks about punishment for fraudulently inducing persons to invest. Giving them wrong gimmicks, wrong information, telling them it's a very good company, even though you know it's not. You're fraudulently advertising your company's requirements. Why? Because you know you're going to make profits out of it. Section 447 is going to be attracted. Understanding? Yes. Next point. Section 37. Whoever is the person affected because of your foolishness, let's assume you've induced them and he's purchased the share. Whoever is affected, he can file a class action suit. What is class action suit? Class action suit means a group of people, a class of people are going to file a case against the members, against the company and try to recover their money. And this is called as class action suit. Section 39, allotment of securities by the company. Whatever money that you have got, you have to first park it in another account. You can't directly use that money. All right. That subscription money has to be kept aside. You are going to inform whoever is the shareholder whether you're allotting them or not. Let's assume if you have not got the minimum subscription, you're going to refund the entire amount that you have raised from them. You can't keep that fund with you. Let's assume it was a successful subscription. Then you use the funds, but you have to file another important document called as return of allotment. Section 40 talks about securities exchange to be used. Whenever you're making public issues, I want you to list yourself on the stock exchanges. Why? Sir, because I need liquidity for these public offers. What is liquidity? I have the shares today. I want money tomorrow. I want to sell it immediately. If you don't give me an option of listing myself on the stock exchange, then I will have no liquidity. How do I ensure liquidity? Only by ensuring that I'm listed on the stock exchange. Understanding? Yes. Next point. Section 42. Don't enter the examination hall without reading this section, because this is the only means through which a private company can raise money apart from right issue and bonus issue. What is private placement? Let's assume I want to raise money. I can't go to a huge group of people, not required. Let's assume all 44 of you are billionaires. You have your own unicorns. I hope you understand what is a unicorn. All right. The biggest of the startups, all right, which is satisfying a couple of criteria, is called as a unicorn. All right. Assume you're all of those. Do I need to go ask people for money? You're more than enough. All right. So what I do, I place my issue privately amongst these 44 people. That is called as private placement. Sir, can I have 52 people? No, you can't have more than 50 in one round. Sir, then what is this 200? Sir, I want to make multiple private placements during the year. No problem. In that case, you make those multiple private placement. In total during the year, you can't have more than 200. I repeat, single private placement, 50. Let's assume like this, I want to have multiple private placements. Just ensure it does not cross more than 200. I hope I'm clear. Everyone, crystal clear with the concept? Yes. Now,
Yes.
QIBs and ESOPs are not covered within the concept of your 200. Very, very important. QIBs and ESOP. What is QIB? Qualified institutional buyers. We discussed this. Example, LIC. Whatever mutual funds that you buy, those mutual fund houses are having your funds. What are they going to do with it? Banks. What is bank doing with your savings deposit? Are they keeping it idle? They invest it. They don't just lend. For your information, they just don't lend it in the form of loan. They invest it somewhere else. Now, very important, those will be classified within the concept of your QIBs. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Next. Share capital is something that we haven't discussed as of now, so we are not going to touch upon that. We are done with the first unit. We are done with your first unit. All right. 25 to 30% of your paper is going to be from the first unit. Confident, everyone? Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Good to start with the second unit.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just allow me a second. So, I'm not sure if people who are pursuing articleship are also there as a part of the session. Anyone? Oh, great. Okay. You're done with your articleship, or you have taken a leave just for today?
Permission, sir.
Oh, brilliant. Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Unit 2 of Companies Act is something that we are going to touch upon now. Deposits, charges, dividend. 3 important topics. Trust me, these 3 important topics in itself can give you 15 to 16 marks in your examination. You can't have a paper without these 3 important topics. Chiller topics, nothing Ivanda, easy topics. Let's get started with the topics now. All right. Chapter 5 talks about deposits. What are deposits? People's fund, people's money, which is going to be called as deposit. Now, what is important in this? Pay attention. Section 73 says prohibition of acceptance of deposit from public. There are a few companies who are allowed to take deposit. Example, banks, savings bank deposit, recurring deposit, fixed deposit. That is public deposit, but that is not covered within the ambit of our discussion. What are we talking about? We are talking about other companies who are raising money from public in the form of deposits. Extremely important. Section 73 says you cannot raise deposits. General piece of law, you cannot raise deposit. General piece of law, you cannot raise deposits. Exceptions are carved out. All right. There are a few eligible companies. Only those eligible companies can take deposits. No one else. No one else. Deposits is one of the dangerous chapters which you might want to avoid being covered. Why? Because by mistake, if you do a default here, if you're committing a default here, you can't become a director in another company. there's a high possibility that liability becomes unlimited. There's a high possibility that your company may be wound up. Any mistakes here is going to cost a lot. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. So section 73 talks about these provisions are not applicable. The entire section on deposit is not applicable to a banking company and NBFC. Why? Sir, they are into hardcore deposits itself. Their business itself is of deposits. How can I cover them? How can it's as good as me telling them banks cannot take deposits. Then where will you keep your money? Understanding? Everyone? Crystal clear with the concept? Is there a lag in the video?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Appropriate? Yes. All right. Let's go ahead. Whenever you're doing a deposit, whenever you're carrying out a deposit, you have to remember that a circular is given to the members telling that what exactly is the financial position of the company. All right. Second thing, you're going to inform your daddy regarding the fact that you are intending to raise a deposit. Deposit shall not be, very, very important, depositing such a sum which shall not be less than 15% of the amount of deposit maturing during a financial year and financial year next following year. What is the meaning of this? How much liquidity should I have? How much money should I have? It should be 15% of the funds that you are going to pay this year and next year in aggregate. 15% of that fund should be available with you. All right. Next point. Deposit insurance has to be covered. Why? Because let's assume I've given the deposits. Tomorrow, if that is not insured, then everything will go for a toss. Classic example. Money heist. Have you watched? All right. What is the concept? Someone is coming and looting the bank. Don't forget the banker is having your money. What about that money, sir? Someone has to take an insurance of those funds as well. That is nothing but your deposit insurance, and that is covered within the ambit of your DICGC, a separate topic altogether where a separate entity is created just for the purpose of insuring your money. Are you guys understanding what we're talking about? Everyone, is it making sense?
Yes, sir.
Next one.
Yes, sir.
That the company has not defaulted, very important. And apart from that, you're going to create something called as DRR, your deposit repayment reserve. This should be the amount which should be available with you for the purpose of repayment. Section 74 talks about repayment of deposits, etc., accepted before the commencement of this act. Whatever deposits you have taken, even before the commencement of 2013 act, how about those, sir? Law says, I will give you some time, repay that funds within 1 year from the commencement of this year, from the commencement of this act. I don't want you to keep that funds anymore. Why? It might be some 20 years, 30 years old money. I don't want you to keep it with yourself. Are you guys understanding? Yes. Next point. Next point. Section 76, acceptance of deposit from public by certain companies. Now, not every company can raise deposits. I've told you time and again. All right. It can be done by only eligible companies. Now, what are eligible companies? Eligible companies have been defined, which is satisfying the requirement under the Act. Now, what are the requirements? Let's quickly pay attention. Eligible company means a company which is having a net worth of not less than 100 crores or a turnover of not less than 500 crores and has taken prior consent from the members by passing a special resolution that they are going to raise money. Very, very important question. I'll not be surprised if they ask a question in examination. Fatima Limited wants to raise money from the public in the form of deposit. Turnover of the company 200 crores. Paid up capital of the company 120 crores. Can it raise the deposits from public? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You will have to give an assumption that in writing, special resolution has been passed and the consent of members has been given. Very, very important. Can you see there? Very important. It's class. Very important. Prior consent, general meeting, special resolution has to be passed. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding?
Yes,
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Fatima Limited was the example. Just one small word PVT between the words. Can it raise?
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Deposits.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No confusion. Stop being so less in your confidence. 100% you can tell with certainty it cannot raise deposit from public. Why? Language used in section 2 clause 68 is not shares. Prohibition from inviting public to subscribe to your securities. The word securities is wide enough to cover even this. I hope everyone's understanding. Sir, that means private companies can't raise deposits itself? 100% it can. It can become an eligible company, but it can raise deposits only from its members. Don't forget this. Don't forget this. Don't forget this. Pay attention, everyone. Yes. So, eligible company, how much can they accept, sir? Up to 25% of their paid up capital and free reserves. We have understood the meaning of the paid up capital and free reserves long back, if you recall. Sir, how much period should I keep this funds for? Sir, minimum 6 months and maximum 36 months. Just because you raise deposit tomorrow itself, you have money. Can I repay? No. Minimum, you have to keep these funds for 6 months at least. Sir, maximum, I want the money, sir. After 36 months also, can I keep? No. Within 36 months, you have to repay. I hope I'm clear. Sir, only for 2 months, I want to raise deposits. Can I do so? No, you can't. You can't. Minimum 6 months. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Crystal clear with the concept? Yes. No, sir, I want to raise only for 4 months. Can I do so? Or I want to raise it only for 3 months. Can I do so? Deposit shall not exceed 10% of the aggregate of paid up capital and free reserves, and it shall not be repaid before 3 months. Very important. Minimum, if you want to reduce from 6 months also, I'll give you a chance. You satisfy these two conditions. What is the first condition? Reduce the amount that you're going to raise from money from public, and the reduction in the time period cannot be less than 3 months. You keep the funds at least for 3 months, or else why are you even getting into this chapter? I've told you this is one of the dangerous chapters. Stay away from this. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Crystal clear with the concept?
Yes,
Everyone?
sir.
Yes. Next one.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Sir, government companies, instead of 25%, they can accept up to 35%. Company cannot issue secure deposit unless the trustees are appointed. Very important. Whenever there are secure deposits, you have to appoint a trustee. All right. Every company has to pay. In case if you fail to repay your deposits in time, then there will be an interest of 18% per annum. If I'm an investor, trust me, if I'm an investor, I might want to keep the money with the company which is defaulting, so that it is going to give me 18% per annum. But that comes with its own inherent risk. The risk is that for 18% interest, you might lose out the 100% of principal itself. Sahara. If you remember, we've spoken about the scam as well. All right. Next point. What is going to be asked in examination? Extra focus on definition of the word deposit. What is deposit and what is not deposit is equally important. Prithvi, there in the session? Understanding? Harshvardhan? Pramukha,
Yes, sir.
there in the session?
Yes, sir.
Ravish. So, Prajwal,
Yes, sir.
what is not deposit is also very, very important. Here, you can expect MCQs and numericals. You can expect MCQs and numericals coming from here. Pay attention. All right. Can we start? So, any amount which is received from the government, not a deposit. Any amount which you're receiving from the bank, not a deposit. Any amount which you're receiving from any of the bank as a loan, not a deposit. Any amount which you've received from the public financial institution, not a deposit. Any amount which you've raised in the form of commercial papers and CDs, certificate of deposit, not a deposit. Any amount which you've received from another company, not a deposit. Any amount which you've received in the form of share application, not a deposit. But wait, if the shares are not allotted within 60 days, then I'll give you extra 15 days. Please repay. No, I am not repaid within 75th day as well. Entire amount will be deemed as deposit. Entire amount will be deemed as deposit. Any adjustment that you're going to make will not be considered as refund. Directors of the company or relative of directors of the company, any amount you receive from them shall not be considered as a deposit. However, they have to declare that this amount is from their own funds and not from borrowed funds. Or else it's easy, no? I'll ask my directors, you raise money in your name and give it to the company. I'm a private company. I'll ask my directors, you raise the money in your name and give it to the company. Indirectly, I'm taking money from public. I hope you're understanding, everyone. Yes. Then we went on to understand secured charges are not deposits. NCDs which are not secured. However, there are a few exceptions to this as well. In case if you're falling under any of these exceptions, it will not be considered as not a deposit. That means it is a deposit. It is a deposit. Understanding? Sleepy, boring. Any amount which you receive from the employee, which is not exceeding his annual salary, all right, will not be considered as a deposit. We had given an example as well. Your salary is 10 lakh rupees. You said, sir, if I take home salary, my parents will ask me to spend. Forget about my parents. I know myself, I will only spend. Forget about me. I have stupid friends who will force me to spend. I might as well keep the money with the company itself. No problem. You keep it with the company. But how much? Not more than annual salary. By mistake, if it goes beyond the annual salary, amount will be considered as deposits. Are you guys understanding? Non-interest bearing amount received or held in the trust is not going to be deposit. Advances received in the course of business is not going to be deposit. But wait. What is the meaning of this? Whatever money I've received, let's assume I'm purchasing goods from Chinmay. I have given advance to Chinmay. Chinmay has to ensure that she is returning it to me in the form of goods. She has taken advance from me. She's not taken a loan. She's taken advance. There's a difference between loan and advance. What is the meaning of the word advance? I'm giving money so that I can get something in return in the form of goods or services. What is loan? Loan I've given money so that I can get in the form of money itself. Are you guys understanding difference between loan and advance? Yes. If Chinmay is raising anything in the form of advance, pay attention. In case if advance is taken, she has to supply goods or services within a period of 365 days. If not, whatever advance I've given will be considered as deposits. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. In case of capital goods, the period is different. All right. Instead of 365 days, the condition is different in case of capital goods. All right. Then we have a couple of other things. Amount which is received by the Nidhi company, amount which is received by the promoters through which is unsecured. Any amount which is raised by the chit fund company is going to be not a deposit. Very, very important. Startups. Any amount of 25 lakhs or more received by the startup in the way of a convertible note in one tranche will not be a deposit. Four conditions. Everyone on screen, pay attention. Spurti. 4 conditions. First, minimum amount 25 lakhs. Who is raising it? Startup company. How is it being raised? In the form of a convertible note. How is it being raised? Whether it is multiple times that I'm going to receive it in installment? No, you have to receive the entire amount in a single tranche. Only then you're going to be satisfying this condition. Pay attention. I'll not be surprised if this comes as a question in examination. All right. This can come as a question in examination. Understanding? Last point. Any amount which is received from your BC funds, your mutual funds, or any of the AIFs. What are AIFs? Your alternative investment funds. All of these. Any amount that they receive will not, any amount which I receive from them is not going to be considered as a deposit. Dikshita, understanding? Shruti, Harshvardhan?
Yes, sir.
That's about your entire discussion on deposit. Now come to charges. What is the concept of charges? Very simple topic. Charges means, sir, anything which you are raising from the company. All right. Or let's assume company is raising a loan from you. You are going to ask for a security. What is that security? You're trying to create a charge on the assets of the company. That security is nothing but a charge on the assets of the company. Understanding? Now, there can be 2 types of charges. It can be a floating charge or it could be a fixed charge. Floating charge, classic example. The security is always on those assets which are changing regularly. Example, you have given me a OD facility or a cash credit facility against the debtors of my company, against the stocks of my company. Sir, that will not remain same, sir, throughout the year. That has to change. So that is called as floating charge. What is fixed charge? Sir, you have given this 1 crore to me against my immovable property. That won't change every day. The property in MG Road has to remain in MG Road, whether I give it or my next generation gives it. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Yes. So that becomes your fixed charge. As simple as that. This is like understanding?
Yes, sir.
Change of a floating charge to fixed charge. Example. Let's reverse the case. I have given the loan to you. You have given your stock to me as security. Doesn't mean that I'll take that stock and keep it in my godown. What will I do with it? You're selling saris. I'm a chartered accountant. Will I wear saris and give my consultancy? Answer is no. I hope you're understanding. Stop imagining. The whole point is, in this situation, let's assume you've defaulted. I will pick the stock and sell it outside. That does not remain floating anymore because I can ascertain how much is the stock right now in my hand, which I'm going to convert into money. Understanding, everyone? Yes. So this is called as crystallization of floating charges. Very important. Sir, it can't be crystallization of fixed charge. We are converting floating charge into fixed charge. How can it be crystallization of fixed charge? Are you guys understanding? It's crystallization of floating charge. Crystal clear with the concept at least? Everyone? Yes. So these are the 2 types of charges. Now, under charges, duty of it's under section 77. Every company, whenever a charge is created, whether in India or outside, very important, very important. Let's assume I'm a company. I have a property outside India. Classic example, Infosys. Infosys might have a property in USA. Are you guys understanding? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Friends?
No.
Video is lagging. Video is lagging.
Just allow me a second. Is it better now? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's assume I have a property outside India. Now, in this case, can I create a charge against that property? 100% yes. Should I inform my daddy in India? 100% yes. This is what section 77 is all about. Understanding, everyone? Yes. So section 77 says, sir, whenever you have any of the charges which are created, whether in India or outside India, ensure that you inform your registrar within 30 days. All right. The registrar may allow the company to register within after 90 days as well. Very important, sir. I couldn't do it within 30 days because of XYZ reasons. Audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That reasons I couldn't get it registered in within 30 days. Can I ask for a condonation? Condonation means you're requesting them to give extra time. Can't understand. Last date of paying fees in examination fees in college, not ICI. ICI, no one will play around. First day itself, you'll go and pay. Last date in case of college. All right. You will beg, you will do everything possible to the principal if you come the next day. Whether he agrees or not, that's not something I'm bothered about. What are you doing? You're just condoning. You're requesting to condone the delay. Now, this can be increased from 30 days to next 30 days as well. All right. After 30 days, if registration is not made within 30 days, condonation of delay from the central government to be seen within next 30 days by paying an additional fees. What is the meaning of this? 30 days I gave you. I'll give you another 30 days. Because of, sir, COVID, couldn't register. I understand your problem. Fair enough. Totally, now you've got 60 days. Sir, after 60 days also, you're hopeless. You didn't register after 60 days as well. I need time. I'll give you time. No problem. But this time, I'm going to give you time with additional fees. You're going to be penalized. You will have to pay some penalty. Now, this is the entire concept of registration of charges. Crystal clear with the concept, everyone? Understanding? Yes. Next point. Next point. Sir, the moment the charge is registered, you're going to get a registration certificate, which is called as the charge creation registration certificate. We've seen on the portal as well, if you remember, on MCA, for a couple of companies, how charges have been disclosed. All right. That says that charge is also a public notice. Charge is also a public notice. All right. So please read it carefully before creating a charge on any of the assets. Application for registration of charge. Section 78 says a company has to register. All right. If the company fails, let's assume the company has not created the charge. Can someone else create it? Answer is yes. Pay attention. Pay attention. 3 people are given the rights to create the charge. Sir, how 3 people? 1, company. 2nd, the lender. 3rd, some other interested party can also go ahead and create the charge in the assets of the property. Do you remember? We discussed this.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
This is weird. This is strange, but it is extremely important. Why? Your asset. I have created a charge on your assets. I know how active you guys are. All right. I know that you will be the last people to register the charges. In that case, will I keep waiting? 30 days, then 30 days, then 60 days. Will I keep waiting? No. Law says, why don't you go ahead and register it? So I become the second person who can go ahead and register. Let's assume I am also one among you. Assume. All right. I have been depending on you. You have been depending on me. Let's assume it's a joint holder. Third party is also involved in this. In that case, he can go ahead and register the charges. I hope I'm clear. Everyone, crystal clear with the concept? Yes.
Yes.
Section 79. Section 77 shall apply in certain matters. Whenever there is any registration, the provision of section 77 relating to the registration of charges shall apply whenever there is any acquisition of the properties on the charges. All right. Whenever there is any modification. When will this section 77 registration apply, sir? Whenever charge is created, whenever charge is modified, whenever charge is removed. All right. All the 3 times charge registration will come into picture. Your entire section 77 is going to come into picture. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Next,
Yes.
section 80, date of notice of the charge. On the date of registration, the charge is deemed to be a public notice. Very, very important. I've given you an example as well. Let's assume I have given you 1 crore rupee on a property which you have given as a security. Same property, you had given it to your friend as well. The value of the property is only 50 lakhs. I have given 1 crore. Ignoring the fact that you've already raised 60 lakhs on the same property from another friend. Who is wrong? You or me? Me. Why? Because charge documents are public notices. Before giving you the money, I should have checked the property that you're talking about has been registered or not. If you remember on the MCA platform, I'd shown it to you, immovable properties, whether charge is there or not, if you can recall.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Section 82, company to report satisfaction of charges. What is the meaning of the word satisfaction of the charge? Let's assume I have given 1 crore, you have given the security to me. After that, it is your responsibility. You've repaid the money to me and I have handed back the property to you. It's your responsibility to ensure that you file a letter with the ROC telling that, sir, the loan has been repaid and there's no charge on the security anymore. Why? Tomorrow, if you want to raise money again against this property on the platform, on the portal, it is still showing that charge is there. You will not be able to raise. Who is under problem? You will be under the problem. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. Next, 83, power of the registrar to make entries and release in the absence of information from the company. Let's assume the registrar believes that you had raised a loan, you had taken a security, you had given a security, a charge was created, and after some point of time, you didn't revert. Registrar believes that satisfactory. All right, the charge has been satisfied. He can make entries, he can remove the charges from the security registers. This is the power which is available to the registrar. And this is the concept of section 83. Section 84, whenever there is any sort of charges being created, you can appoint a receiver or the manager who is going to come into picture for the purpose of your intimations. All right. And the last one, 86. Sir, you yell at the top of your voice, we will not listen. No problem. Punishable. And the punishment, company 5 lakhs, officer in default 50,000 only. Understood? 2 important topics done. Now, the main chapter, section 37. Probably we would have spent easily 20 hours on this chapter. We have to wrap it up in the next 20 minutes. Can we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just pay attention on whatever we discuss. Extremely important topic. Insist you to keep your cameras on 200% focus. 200% focus. Can we begin?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Section 87 talks about, very important, section 87 talks about rectification by the central government in registers of charges. Whenever there is in 86 and prior sections, if you remember, a charge register was created. What is the charge register? Register which is maintained by the central government. All right. So section 87 says, sir, central government has all the powers to make changes in this register. Very simple. Nothing hyphen down. There's a register which we have learned in the charges chapter. Section 87 is giving a power to the central government to make changes in this register. Very simple. Nothing hyphen down. Section 88 talks about register of members. Every company has to maintain a register of members. Sir, where should I maintain? At the registered office. No, sir, I don't want to maintain at the registered office. I want to maintain it somewhere else. No problem. At least when 1/10 of your total members should reside in that place. Only then you can maintain it somewhere else as well. Understanding? This becomes your register of members. Sir, can I keep it in USA? 1/10 of my members are staying in USA. Can I keep it there? You
No, sir.
can't.
No, sir.
You can't. You can't. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Don't get confused. Ritvik, there in the session. Understanding? Yes,
Yes,
don't
sir.
get confused. Don't get confused. Register of members, register of debenture holders, and register of security holders. All right. These are the various types of registers that we've looked into. Every register shall have an index of the name. When is the index required? If you have more than 50 people, then I need an index. Why? Sir, because it is difficult to keep a tab of each and every person. Why don't we refer to the index and come to whenever we are referring, we can just refer to the index. As simple as that. Understanding? Sir, I want to maintain registers in US as well. I hope you understand the language as well. You have to keep in India. You don't have an option. No, sir, I want to keep in USA also. Keep. I have no problem. 2 important conditions. First, articles of association has to authorize you guys. Second, if you want to keep outside, keep. But I want a copy of all the changes in your principal registers in India as well. As simple as that. Understood, everyone? This is the concept of your foreign registers that we had discussed earlier. Then we went on to understand section 89, declaration in respect of beneficial interest in shares. All right, there in the session, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
D company. Do you remember example? That is the whole concept of beneficial interest. All right, let's assume Anjana, all right, is a person in India. Anjana is a normal investor. Anjana has some connections, all right, friendship with Dawood Ibrahim. Dawood Ibrahim knows. I hope you understand who's Dawood Ibrahim.
Yes, sir.
So, Don,
Yes, sir.
simple, all right, gangster. Some person who is not a part of the society legally, all right. Now, that person wants to invest in your company. Wow. First of all, why, how, when, where, what is a question. Assume he wants to invest. Now, listen to me very carefully. In such a situation, he is not going to directly come and give you money. Take. He is going to do it through another person. Why? Because he knows you will not want his name in the records. But at the end of the day, who's the final beneficiary? If you see, it's going to be that person, not Anjana. Not Anjana. Are you guys understanding? Who's going to enjoy the dividend? It's going to be that person. Who's going to take the calls? It's going to be that person. And therefore, that person is going to be called as the beneficial owner. That person is going to be called as the beneficial owner. And that person is said to be had beneficial interest. Section 89 says, why don't you maintain a register of all these? It comes in 3 scenarios. Very important. It comes in 3 scenarios. First, wholly owned subsidiary. Second, partners holding shares or securities on behalf of the partnership firm. Because partnership firm can't invest. It is not a separate legal entity. Basics. All right. And the third important condition is, pay attention. Third important condition is when it comes to money laundering. RD company example. All right. These are the 3 scenarios in which the beneficial interest will come into picture. All right. Now, whenever there is beneficial interest, law says, I want you to maintain a register which is capturing the details of who's the beneficial interest, who's the beneficiary, and who's the registered. On paper, the registered owner might be Anjana, but who's the beneficial owner? It's going to be D company. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understood? Crystal clear with the concept? Yes.
Yes,
Now,
Yes.
section 90 says investigation of the beneficial ownership of the shares in certain cases. Central government can go ahead and check who's the beneficial interest. Why are they taking this detail, by the way? Think logically. So that central government gets information to go ahead and investigate against those people. And that's what section 90 is also saying. The moment you have anything of that sort, please go ahead and give them extra permission to carry out investigation. Very important thing that you will have to understand is section 90 also talks about SBO, significant beneficial ownership. Beneficial ownership, everyone might have, sir. Let's assume in case of D company, Anjana is holding only 1%. Only 1%. Is it significant? Answer is no. It's of no use at all. I am bothered about those people. Let's assume Pradyumna is holding 25% of the company on behalf of D company. More than Anjana. I'm scared about this guy called Pradyumna. Why? Because he is the one who is indirectly routing the funds there. Are you guys understanding, everyone? Yes. So now, law says, along with your beneficial ownership, I want you to give me the details of significant beneficial owners as well. All right. Now, how significant is significant? Anything more than 10% is going to be considered as significant. I hope I'm clear. Look at the variance. Section 2 clause. Your associate company, section 2 clause 6, definition of associate company, their significant influence is at least 20%. Here, significant influence, although the act is giving some other percentage, we are reading it from the rules that at least 10% will be considered as significant benefits, significant influence. Understanding, sleepy,
Yes, sir.
boring.
No, sir.
Understanding.
91, power to close the register. Sir, enough of all this, sir. Close the registers. Can I close? 100% yes. But how long? Very important. You can't close for more than 30 days at a time. In a year, not more than 45 days. Can be asked in examination. I'll not be surprised if this comes in examination. All right. Very important. Before closure, you will have to give a notice of 7 days and an advertisement has to be given regarding the closure of register. I hope I'm clear, everyone. When does it come into picture? Let's assume I want to declare dividend. Infosys wants to declare dividend. Every second there's a change in the ownership. Every millisecond, there will be a change in ownership. Sir, whom all will I tap? How should I give the dividend? Are you guys understanding? Now, in this case, law says, why don't you close the books for some time? Close the book on a particular date. You decide whoever, clearly tell them on 31st of January, whoever is the shareholder as per the records at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. will be considered for the purpose of declaration of dividend. As simple as that. Now, even after that, there are any changes. That's not your headache because you have given a notice to the public. I hope I'm clear. Understanding the logic?
Yeah.
Next point. Section 91 done. Section 92 talks about annual returns. We've seen annual returns, if you remember, MGT 7, MGT 7A. Do you remember? All right. So every company shall prepare a return. It is going to give me the details of what are you, where are you from, who are your shareholders, how much are you indebted, what have you done throughout the entire year, how many meetings were there, who all came for the meetings, what types of meetings were there AGMs, were there EGMs, were there any board meetings, who all are your owners during this entire 1 year, whatever has happened. I want you to give me the details, and that is coming in your annual returns. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes?
Yes.
93 omitted. 94, place. Where can I keep these registers? Registers have to be kept at the registered office. No, sir, I don't want to keep at registered office. Keep it somewhere else, as long as at least 1/10 of your total members are located in that place. All right, are residing in that location, then you can go ahead and keep. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Again, numerical. Mark it wherever I'm saying it's important. Mark it important. I hope you're understanding, or else me yelling at the top of my voice is of no use. Section 95, registers, etc. to be maintained as an evidence. Tomorrow, whenever there's an investigation, can they call for the registers? Yes, they're going to call for the registers and check. All right. So it's going to act as an evidence. Now comes the most important topic, AGM. All right. 200% focus. 200% focus. Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Meetings. All right. Entire discussion on meetings captured in one single chart. 200% focus. I might be not going into section wise. Rather, I will do it comprehensively, all the sections together. Meetings can be of two types.
Ordinary.
All right. Before types of meetings, or rather for me, meetings of members can be of two types, because there are, then you will say there are board meetings also. Those are separate topics altogether. I'm talking about meetings of members. They're in the session?
Yes,
They're in the
sir.
session? Yes, sir. So meeting of members can be of two types, AGM, EGM. All right. What is AGM? Anything which is other than EGM. Or what is EGM? Anything other than EGM. As simple as that. All right. What is EGM? Anything other than AGM. Now, AGM, we have two topics being discussed. One is going to be the ordinary business. The other one is going to be the special business. What is ordinary business? Adda points. All right. Adda points are going to be considered as my ordinary business. What are Adda points? Quickly make a note. Quickly make a note. Listen to me. Make a note as in listen to me. Adda points. A, adoption of books of account. D, declaration of dividend. Is it going to be interim dividend or final dividend?
Final dividend.
Final dividend.
Even here there is hesitation. Sir, how can it be interim dividend? It has to be final dividend. The third one is D, appointment of directors. Full stop. A, appointment of auditors and deciding their remuneration is going to be covered as a part of your auditors as well. Are you guys understanding, everyone? Yes. Now,
Yes,
Adda points, ordinary business, 200% focus. I insist you to keep your cameras on. Ordinary business, always ordinary resolution. So now suddenly you're connecting me with some other topic altogether. No problem. Relax. Right now, we are talking about meetings. Meetings can be of two types, AGM, EGM. AGM, you have two types of businesses. You have an ordinary business, you have special business. Focus. Ordinary business can be of four types, or ordinary businesses are only four types. What are those? Adda points. All right. Adda points, remember 200% focus, always ordinary resolution. So this brings me to another topic, 200% focus, resolutions. All right, parallelly we are learning everything. All right, resolution can be ordinary resolution. Second one, special resolution. Third one, unanimous resolution. When it comes to your ordinary business, always ordinary resolution. No confusion at all. Special business, always special resolution. No, don't give me heart attacks. Don't give me heart attacks. Ordinary business, always ordinary resolution. Special business, maybe special resolution, maybe ordinary resolution, maybe unanimous resolution. Example, entrenchment of articles of a private company. I'm not going to pass an ordinary resolution or a special resolution. I'm going to pass a unanimous resolution if it is a private company. If it is a public company, special resolution. I hope you're understanding, everyone. Yes. So anything other than these adda points is going to be special business. Now pay attention. Anything discussed in EGM, anything discussed in EGM, always special business. It cannot become ordinary business. There's no concept of ordinary business in EGM. Sir, I'm appointing directors in EGM. Ordinary business?
Special
Oh,
business.
sir.
Special business.
The same question. AGM.
Yes.
Ordinary.
Ordinary.
business.
Sir, if I am appointing a director in the AGM, what resolution?
Ordinary.
Ordinary.
Ordinary resolution.
Resolution at all.
Resolution.
Why? Easy to remember. Ordinary business is equal to ordinary resolution is equal to only AGM, nothing else. Or rather, AGM is equal to ordinary business is equal to ordinary resolution. Second equation can be AGM is equal to special business is equal to ordinary resolution or special resolution or unanimous resolution. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding?
Yes.
Understanding,
Yes,
sir.
everyone? Crystal clear
Yes,
with the
sir.
concept?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes.
whenever there is special business, there will be an explanatory statement which is going to come into picture. Sir, what is this new topic altogether, sir? Explanatory statement is nothing but give an explanation of why this business are we even talking about. Whenever there's a special business, pay attention. Whenever there's a special business, whenever there's a special notice, two things. Special business, sir, complete Chitrana, sir. Special business, we understood. What is this suddenly special business? Special notice, we'll discuss. Hold on. Special business, everyone understood? As the topic says, it's a special business. I need some explanation. How at home, sitting at home, how will you get to know what special business are we going to talk about? You need some details, right? Before entering the meeting. So why don't you get an explanation? So law clearly says, sir, please give them explanation if it is a special business. Apart from special business, explanatory statement has to be given if it is a special notice also. What is special notice? We will discuss. Relax. All right. Right now, at least understand special business. Complete Chitra. Chinmay is almost on the verge of quitting the meeting. I understand. Relax. Pay attention. Pay attention. Everyone, 200% focus on screen. Meetings, two types. AGM, EGM. What is EGM? Sir, let's simplify your life. Anything other than AGM is EGM. Easy. All right. What is AGM? AGM is annual general meeting. It's like your parents teachers meeting. Every year, your teachers, same complaint, no change at all. Ordinary complaints. Nothing but your ordinary resolution. Your son, your daughter comes, doesn't even open the notes, doesn't even switch on the camera. Same, always talkative, same complaints. Ordinary business. Your parents are also, they will be mentally prepared for each of these topics. What should I give the response? Because it's ordinary business. Ordinary resolution, ordinary response. Suddenly they get to know that you've been bunking college. Forget about switching your cameras. Now to the next level, you're bunking college every day. Out of 5 days, only 4 days, you're not there in college. 1 day, by mistake, you're there in the college. Special topic for them to discuss now. Special business. Give them explanatory statement. All right. College has to mentally prepare you. Now it's as good as college has to mentally prepare you. Look, this is what we are going to talk with your parents as well. Ordinary topics, we will not give you explanation, but this is some special topic. Come prepared. Special business, it can be anything. Resolution can be ordinary resolution, special business, or special resolution, or unanimous resolution. Crystal clear with the topic?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Everyone?
sir.
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 Now, pay attention. Explanatory statement comes into picture on screen, everyone. Explanatory statement comes into picture whenever there's a special business, whenever there's a special notice. What is the special notice, sir? Suddenly. Sir, why should the board of directors only decide always what is going to be discussed in the meeting? I'm also a shareholder. Even I want to decide what is to be discussed in the meeting. Yes or no? Even I want to decide the agenda of the meeting. if I give that permission, every Tom, Dick and Harry will come with their own topics. Sir, my wife is not good at home. My husband is not good at home. He's not giving me time. I can't give that permission to you guys. Understanding? Deepa, personally, relatable. Listen to me. Now, everyone, 200% focus. In this situation, what do? I'm going to check. Are you satisfying the criteria? Are you even that valuable customer, valuable member of the company or not? If you're not, if you're holding one share and if you want to decide the agenda of the company, wow, what will others do? Reliance, you have one share and you decide what Mukesh Ambani has to listen in the meeting. Wow. Therefore, special notice comes into picture only if you are satisfying the condition. You should be having some significant stake in the company. All right, what is that we're going to discuss? It cannot be every topic that you bring up for the purpose of discussion. It can happen only in 3 scenarios where you request the company, you want to discuss any of these 3 scenarios that can be taken up as a purpose of discussion in your meeting. All right. Now, special notice can be for any meeting. It can be for an AGM. It could be for any EGM. Anything can come into picture as a part of your special notice. But special notice, should it be accompanied with explanatory statement?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
100%. The moment I'm using the word special, you blindly start using the word explanatory statement. As simple as that. Special business, special notice, whenever it is anything special, give explanation. Ordinary, your parents are anyways prepared for it. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Let's go ahead. 200% focus. AGM. Every company other than OPC shall in each year hold AGM in addition to their other meetings. That is going to be called as an AGM. Section 97. Sir, power of the tribunal to call an AGM. You and your company is so useless. We and our company is so useless that we don't even call an AGM. Now what tribunal is going to ask you, sir, now enough of hanky dory. Please bring in AGM. I want an AGM to be organized. All right. In that case, section 97 says AGM is a tribunal is going to order for an AGM to be held, and that AGM is going to discuss the matters that we have discussed under section 96. All right. Section 97. Power of the tribunal to call meeting of members. Note. One was AGM, where you have yourself not held AGM, then tribunal can ask for holding a meeting. 98 is saying, sir, apart from AGM, there can be an extraordinary general meeting as well required. In that case, I can't wait till an AGM. Tribunal is going to order for another meeting, which is going to be called by the tribunal itself. Of whose? Of the members. I want a meeting only of the creditors. Can the tribunal call only a meeting of the creditors? 100% yes. Why?
Etc.
You and I might be colloquially using this word, but law has every significance to be given for every word that they use. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Crystal clear with the law. Next, section 99. Punishment. In case if you're defaulting in any of the provisions, simple punishment. 1 lakh rupees. Company. Officer in default, 5,000. And for continuing, luckily officer in default is covered here, or else company had to pay from their pocket. So listen to me. All right. Company, 1 lakh rupees. Officer in default, even you will be liable. Totally, how much can be the liability? 5,000 rupees per day. 5,000 rupees per day, 1 lakh rupees is in total. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes, Sleepy. Section 100 talks about calling an extraordinary general meeting. Who can call this EGM? It can be called by the board of directors, it can be by the requisitionist, and it can be by the tribunal. Now, very important, whenever you are calling for a meeting, I want you to give, at least the board has to initiate the meeting within 21 days. All right, the moment someone is requesting for an EGM, you have to initiate the meeting within 21 days and to have not later than 45 days, failing which the requisitionist himself can call for a meeting. What is the meaning of this? Sir, I want a meeting. I'm a requisitionist. I want a meeting. Now, law says, I will give you, please call for a meeting within 21 days. No, sir, I couldn't call within 21 days. It's too short a period. Why 21 days? Any idea?
21 clear days.
Clear days.
Clear days, notice, 21 days. You have to give shorter notice if you want. Then you have to get 95% of your members' approval, if you remember. All right. Now, 21 days, you have to call the meeting. Sir, I couldn't call within 21 days. Now what? Maximum within a period of 45 days, you have to call the meeting. No, sir, I couldn't call within 45 days as well. Don't worry. Now, whoever is that shareholder who is requesting, let him go ahead and call for the meeting. Let him go ahead and take all the headers here. Let him take the headache of calling the meeting. Sir, expenditure, who will reimburse? Company is going to reimburse. Don't worry about that. All right. Next point. Section 101, notice of the meeting, 21 clear days, something that we have already discussed. Yes. Now, notice can be in writing or it could be through your electronic mode. Very, very important topic that we have discussed in case if you want to call for a shorter notice. So 21 days and all not possible, sir. I can't wait for 21 days. Now, in that situation, you can call for a shorter notice, but wait, 95% of your members have to agree. 95% of your members have to agree. Are you guys understanding? Yes. Now, in case of AGM, 95% of members entitled to vote have to agree. It is number of members. It's not their voting rights. Something that we had discussed long back. Example, 100 members are there. Those of you are sleeping, sit straight. 99 members are holding only 1%. One member is holding 99%. Possible? Possible. Now, in this case, shorter notice is being agreed by this one person. He says, sir, I'm okay with it. Is it okay?
No.
No,
sir.
sir.
He's holding 99% of the company. Is it
No.
okay?
No,
No.
sir.
Sir.
I hope you've got the answer. The answer is
Number.
no. Why? Because here we are talking about number of members and we're not talking about the percentage of stake those members hold. Extremely important. They are going to ask, in case if they want to pick a question here, they can ask a numerical here. They can ask a numerical here. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding the concept? Yes. In case of EGM, by the members of the company with the share capital, majority in the number. All right, 95% of those who are entitled to vote, they have to agree to it. Next point, company without share capital, at least 95% of the total voting power has to be agreed upon. Next, section 102, statement to be annexed along with the notice. What is this? This is nothing but your explanatory statement. The whole discussion that we had, whenever there's any special business, special notice, I need an explanatory statement which talks about what you're going to do and what not. All right. Section 103, quorum for meeting. Again, numerical. Public companies. Sir, in case if you have up to 1,000 members, 1,000 shareholders, I need 5 persons or 5 members physically present. Sir, we are available on video conference. Sir, you make a WhatsApp call, we are available. Does it work? No, it does not. 5 members physically present. If I have more than 5,000 members, all right, 15 members or rather up to 5,000 and more than 5,000, 30 members have to be physically present. And this is the quorum for a public company. Apurva there in the session? Yashaswini is there in the session? Private
Yes,
company, 2 members physically present. Sir, when should I check the quorum, sir? Within 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes, if you don't get the quorum, meeting is adjourned. Why, sir? Because we follow Indian Standard Time. Does not mean the lawmakers will also wait for you for 300 hours, waiting for you guys to come. I hope I'm clear. All right. 30 minutes. Nothing beyond that. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Crystal clear with the concept? Section 104 talks about chairman of the meeting. Chairman of the meeting is something like your speaker in a Lok Sabha session. All right, all those in favor say ayes and those not in favor. Do you remember? I'm sure you might have seen Lok Sabha channel. All right. The same role is being played by the speaker, chairman as well. But his role is extremely important. Why? Because just in case if there's a tie, he gets the veto to vote. He gets the veto to vote. Are you guys understanding? Everyone? Yes. So he's going to get a voting right only in case if there is a deadlock. Section 105. Section 105 talks about proxies. Entire discussion on proxies. If you remember, we have had interesting discussion where at one point of time we have compared it with your college life and is it possible or not? Sure. Is it possible? Legally possible. 100% you can have proxies. All right. So let's quickly see. Every member has a right to appoint proxy and that has to be informed to the company at least 48 hours before. Proxy, will he get a right to speak? Answer is no. You please come, you eat, you leave. You vote if you want, but you can't open your mouth in the meeting. You don't even know anything about the company. Upon that, you want to come and speak in the meeting. Wow. Understanding? Understanding, everyone?
Yes,
Next
sir.
one.
Yes.
The central government may give a class or classes of companies where proxies cannot be appointed. All right. Also, the person appointed as proxy shall not act on behalf of other members, not exceeding 50 members. How many proxies can I become? Maximum 50. Can I become a proxy of 50 members? Answer is yes. Not beyond that. Not beyond that. Understanding? Again, MCQ. Sana wants to become a proxy of all the 50, 60 people in our session. Possible? Not possible.
Not.
The maximum that she can become is only for 50 members. Nothing beyond that. Crystal clear with the concept? Yes. Section 106 talks about restriction on voting rights. Can I impose any restrictions on the voting rights? 100% yes. If there are anything of that sort, those restrictions will be valid. Voting can happen by multiple mechanisms. All right. Voting can be by show of hands. All those classic example, Lok Sabha channel. Those of you who are in favor, please raise your hands. All right. That becomes your show of hands. As simple as that. All right. The second one is those through voting of or voting through electronic means. What is the meaning of this? If a company is having more than 1,000 shareholders, it is mandatory for that company to have electronic voting as well. We've seen during the session how they send an email with a link. You please click on the link and you can vote on behalf if you want to. All right. This is through your electronic voting. Section 109 is your demand poll. All right. What is the concept of this demand poll? Before or any declaration of the result of voting on any of the resolution, a poll may be ordered to be taken by the chairman on his own motion and shall be taken by him on demand made in that behalf. In case if the company has any of those members, not less than 1/10 of the total voting power or 5 lakh rupees or such higher paid up capital as may be prescribed. In case of any other companies, those members who are having not less than 1/10 of the total voting power. So what is this? Sir, it is as good as voting in your school days. All right. You have a ballot paper, ballot box. You can go ahead and give your polls in the ballot box. That is called as demand by voting polls. Demand polls. Understanding, everyone? All right. Next point.
Yes.
Postal ballot, one of the most important topics. All right. One of the most important topics. There are a few situations where law says, I want postal ballot. What is the concept of postal ballot? The company is going to send a postal letter to you. You, at the convenience of your house, you sit at your home and vote and send your votes back to the company. This is called as voting by postal ballot. Why? When does this happen? Sir, when the matter is so significant that I can't wait for you guys to come for the meeting. I have to instantly send out these emails. I have to instantly send out these mails as such. That is called through your postal ballot. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Who's going to pay for it is the first question which Ritvik is having. Don't worry.
Me.
I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding?
Yes.
Yes.
Section 111, circulation for of members resolution. Whatever the company on requisition and writing, give a notice to the members of any of the resolution which may be moved in the meeting. Circulate to the members any statement with respect to the matters which are being proposed to be discussed. What is the meaning of this? Sir, in case of any specific topic, any special topic has to be discussed, then the member can write to the company, to the board of directors, and they can also specifically bring in that matter for the discussion, the meeting. This is through your section 111. Section 112. Sir, president and governors are also my shareholders. Now, in that case, they can't come to my meetings. So what will they do? They are going to have permanent proxies. Those are called as representatives. Those are called as representatives, and they will be deemed to be the member of the company. Next one, section 112, section 113. So let's assume my shareholder is a company. A company can't walk and come to the meeting. Who's going to do it? The company is going to appoint someone, and that person is going to be representing the company, and that person is allowed under section, or that representation is allowed under section 113. Section 114, we've already seen resolutions can be of 2 types or 3 types rather: ordinary resolution, special resolution, unanimous. What is ordinary resolution? Majority. All right, more than 50% if I'm getting on a particular topic, that will be called as ordinary resolution. What is unanimous resolution? More than 100% is not possible, exactly 100%. There in the session, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Resolution is important because this in itself can come as a write a short note question. In case if I want to move a topic, all right, based on, pay attention, special resolution, then there are 3 conditions to be satisfied. Pay attention, pay attention. The first condition is you will have to give in the notice specifically that this topic is going to be discussed through a special resolution. Second, whenever there's a resolution, special resolution, you will have to give explanatory statement for that special resolution. Understanding? Wherever I'm using the word special, by default, you have to give notices, explanatory statement, as simple as that. Do I have to give explanatory statement for ordinary resolution?
May be or may not be so.
May or may not.
Maybe or may not be is an appropriate answer. Why? Sir, because if the ordinary resolution is for ordinary business, then not required. If the ordinary resolution is for a special business, explanatory statement is required. Prithvi, do you understand? Agreed? Yes. Crystal clear with the concept? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Next point. Sir, what is the special resolution? More than 3/4 of the members have to agree on the topic. Only then that will be called as a special resolution, or else it will not be called. All right. Now, any topic for the purpose of section 114, any business transacted at the general meeting by any ordinary or special resolution, the resolution to be communicated by the members and entered in the minutes book. Very important. Whatever resolution, whatever discussion you have, that has to be entered in the minutes book. Who's going to execute and who's going to sign this minutes book? It's going to be the chairman. All right. Next point. Section 115, resolutions requiring special notice. Where a special notice, if you remember, this was the topic that we were discussing. All right. Wherever there is a topic which requires a special notice to be given, the members can come. All right. Now, can any member ask for it? Answer is no. At least 1% of the total voting power or holding shares worth 5 lakh rupees, only those members can request for a special notice. Now, this cannot happen always. This comes into picture only in 3 scenarios. First, removal of the auditor. Second, appointment of an auditor other than the retiring auditor. Third, when I want to appoint a director other than the retiring director, in that case, I will have a special notice. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. Now, these are the scenarios where special notice is required. Now, the moment you get, company has to go ahead and circulate that at least 7 days before. If you don't circulate it, then the members can themselves take up it's a discussion for the purpose in the meeting. All right. Sir, if I couldn't give it in the notice, no problem. Put it in the newspaper. Put it in the newspaper. Understood, everyone? Section 117, resolutions and agreements to be filed. Whatever resolution that you have passed, that has to be filed with the company, with the register. Section 180, minutes of meeting has to be maintained. All right. Whatever minutes that you've done, that has to be maintained. That has to give the details of all the discussions have happened. Very, very important. That has to be signed by the chairman in case of an AGM. All right. Next point. Section 190. Inspection of the minutes book. Can someone inspect? 100%. Yes. Books which are containing the minutes can be checked, and so those are kept at the registered office, and that can be inspected as well. Maintenance and inspection of the electronic records. Whatever documents are kept in electronic records can be, first of all, can I maintain? Yes, I can maintain. Can those be inspected? 100% yes, those can be inspected. Section 121, report on the AGM. Whatever AGM you've done, give me the details of that, and that report has to be filed. Section 122, sir, whatever we have discussed is not going to apply to an OPC. For an OPC, only selective provisions are applicable. Whatever discussion is done, if they just enter those topics also in their minutes of meeting, that in itself is the meeting. All right. The date when they enter in the minutes of meeting, that itself is the meeting. So where will that one person see himself in the mirror and talk? Yes. Are you guys understanding what we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That was about your accounts. Coming on to dividend, 200% focus. All right. Boring, sleepy?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
A second. We have 2 chapters to discuss in your Companies Act, and then we immediately switch to your corporate allied laws. All right, let's get started. Dividend, 200% focus. Energy there in the session?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Give me a second, friends. So, dividend, the first one, section 123 talks about declaration of dividend. First thing, can I declare dividend? 100%. Yes, you can declare dividend. But however, from where are you going to declare dividend? You're going to declare. Subsection 1 is talking about the sources of dividend. You can declare dividend out of your profits of the current year. You can declare dividend out of your general reserves. Sir, only problem is I don't have profits itself. I don't have anything in this year. Can I declare dividend out of my old profits? Answer is yes, subject to conditions. All right. You can declare dividend from your old profits, from your general reserve, subject to conditions. What are the conditions? Condition, first one, depreciation has to be calculated. Second one, you should have set off the losses of the current year. Third point, you can't declare dividend more than the average of the last 3 years. Sir, what if I've not been in existence for last 3 years itself? Condition itself is not applicable. Do you remember? Do you remember? Yes. Sir, what if I've not declared dividend in the last 3 years? Condition itself is not applicable. Very important. After declaration of dividend, very important, you have to remember that a certain portion which has been described, which has been prescribed, that has to remain, only then you can go ahead and carry out your declaration of dividend. Subsection 2 says, sir, depreciation has to be provided as per Schedule 3. Subsection 3 is talking about your interim dividend. What is interim dividend? Dividend which is declared between 2 AGMs is called as interim dividend. Dividend which is declared between 2 AGM is called as interim dividend. That can be declared out of profits of that quarter. Sir, I don't have profit in this quarter. Now what? Immediately preceding quarter, what was the status? You can take profits from there. I repeat, interim dividend. This quarter, I don't have profits, sir. I have losses. I understand your problem. In that case, you please take the profits of the immediately preceding quarter, not preceding year, preceding quarter, and you can declare dividend out of that. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Next point. 200% focus on whatever we are discussing. Subsection 4. Sir, amount of dividend, including interim dividend, has to be kept in a separate bank account called as unpaid dividend account. All right. Or before unpaid dividend account, it has to be kept in a separate scheduled bank account. From there, you have to dispatch your money. All right. I repeat, dividend declared. I'm going to give you 5 days. Within 5 days, you're going to keep this money in a separate bank account. Now, you have to make the payment from the separate bank account which you have created within 30 days. Are you guys understanding?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
guys understanding, everyone? Yes.
Yes,
Sir, once it is given from this bank account, within 30 days, you have to dispatch the money. You couldn't. Now, whatever funds are lying in this will go sit in another account called as unpaid dividend account. Sir, how many years will I keep the money here? You wait. For some time, you keep it here. All right. If the person does not turn up, for how many years? How many years?
7 consecutive.
7
For
consecutive years.
7 years. For 7 years, if the person does not turn up, then the money is transferred to IEPF account. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Sir, only the dividend will be transferred, or even that person's share. That person's shares will be transferred only if for 7 consecutive years, if he was not able to receive his money. Because that person is as good as not traceable itself. Why do you want to waste your money by keeping it in an unpaid dividend account? Are you guys understanding, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Just you to keep your cameras on. Section 124 is talking about unpaid dividend account. We have discussed this. All right. So where the dividend has been declared, but the company has not been able to pay within 30 days, the entire money shall be transferred within 7 days from the end of the 30 days to another account, to the special account called as unpaid dividend account. So here, if you see, sir, wait for 30 days. Within 30 days, if you're not able to make the payment to the person, I'll give you 7 days, transfer it to this unpaid dividend account. Understood, everyone?
Yes,
Understood, everyone? But 30 days from when? 30 days from the date of declaration. Don't get confused. 30 days from the date of declaration. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. Now, a company which fails under section 73 and 74 shall not declare any dividend to its equity shareholders as long as such failure continues. That's why I've been telling section 73, your entire deposit chapter is one of the most dangerous chapters, because if you've defaulted there, you cannot declare dividend as long as the default is continued. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Crystal clear? Next point. Section 125. All right. IEPF. Your entire discussion on IEPF, where in case if the amount is not being paid for 7 years, all right, then the entire amount is going to be transferred to your IEPF along with the shares. Sir, later on, some new avatar you've come, you want the money back, you want your shares back. What should you do? Make an application to the IEPF. Make an application to the IEPF. As simple as that. Do you remember? I'd shown Infosys payments, if you remember, what money is there in IEPF, what money is there in your unpaid dividend account. Section 126. Sir, I don't know who's the person who should receive the money. Example, Spurti has transferred her shares to Ritvik. All right, 200% focus on screen, everyone. Spurti has transferred her shares to Ritvik. Now, the company in between, let's assume today it was transferred. All right, day after tomorrow, the company made the record. In between itself, let's assume tomorrow, they've called it as a date for declaration of dividend. Now, whom should I give? Should I give it to Spurti or should I give it to Ritvik? Classic confusion. So what law says in this case, sir, don't give it to both. You keep the shares and the dividend, all those rights with yourself. until and unless you get a guarantee that the person has to be Spurti or it has to be Ritvik, whoever it is, until and unless you get the final confirmation, you have the rights to keep it in abeyance. What is this? This is under section 126, right to dividend, right to shares and bonus shares are to be held in abeyance pending registration of transfer of shares. Since the shares have not been transferred and that has not been registered yet, I will keep it in abeyance. Section 127. Sir, you yelled at the top of your voice, but we didn't understand anything. No problem at all. Whatever you didn't understand, and if you don't follow, there's a simple penalty under section 127, and which is going to be triggered in case of failures. All right. This is under section 127. Next, accounts of companies. One of my favorite chapters, because here we've dealt probably more than 20 hours. If you ask me, more than 20 hours we've spent here. Good to start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Section 128. Section 128 says books of account, etc., to be kept by the company. Under the subsection 1, we are talking about what is books of account, what are books and papers, what are books or papers, and how should it be kept, where should it be kept. All right. Law says very simple. Sir, you are supposed to maintain your books of account, which are giving a true and fair view. For every financial year, you have to prepare. You can't prepare once in 3 years. Given who you are capable of preparing once in 10 years also. But I don't want you to prepare like that. Every year you have to prepare. All right. That has to give the state of affairs of your company. Extremely important. It must capture the details of your branches as well. Sir, should I follow double entry system? Yes. Should it be accrual basis? Yes. Where is it coming? Section 128, subsection 1. The word etc. here is including your important things like books or papers or books and papers. Section 2 clause 12, section 2 clause 13 talks about the definitions of books or papers and books and papers. Understanding, everyone? Yes, books of account and books and papers. Now, we went on to understand subsection 1. Proviso, there's an amendment here. Proviso says when a company is maintaining their books of account in electronic format, I want you to enable a feature. What feature?
Audit trail.
I want you to give me the details of 2 important transactions. Audit log, audit trail, and the second one was edit log. Audit trail and edit log. What is audit trail? It should be capable of giving me the details right from the first entry that was passed until it reaches your financial statement. Journal entry, ledger, trial balance, financial statement. Complete trail should be available. This is called as audit trail. What is edit log? In case if you made any changes, I should be able to see those changes. That is called as your edit log. If you remember, this was applicable from 1st April 2022 onwards. This has been amended to 1st April 23 onwards. All right. Your R2R material is updated. Your CAPS material has to be captured and updated with this. Separate session amendments. We are going to make all changes together later on if required, but your R2R material has been updated. So if you see, this is from April 2023 onwards. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understood? Yes. Section 129, yes. Financial statement. Very, very important. Subsection 1 says, sir, financial statements have to be prepared. Sir, format, schedule 3. Prepare the financial statements based on schedule 3. Sir, should our accounting standards be followed? Yes, you have no option. Sir, from where should I get the accounting standards? It has to be accounting standards as per section 133. Why 133, sir? Because it could be Indian GAAP or it could be Ind AS. Of course, Indian GAAP includes Ind AS as well. It could be normal accounting standards or it could be Ind AS as well. So that is covered under section 133. You decide what is applicable to you and accordingly prepare your financial statement. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, everyone. Subsection 2 says, very, very important. Subsection 2 says, when it comes to your financial statements, all right, the board of directors have to ensure that they've looked into it, they're executing it. Everything is as per the accounting standards and it is matching with your schedule 3. Important thing that you have to remember is subsection 3. Subsection 3 is talking about consolidated financial statement. Recently, we have discussed this in our session. Pay attention. Consolidated financial statements mean a statement which is going to capture the details of your associates, subsidiaries as well. Both subsidiary and associates. If you remember, we saw the law drafting errors, how they have drafted, what went on. We understood the difference. Another important thing that you have to remember is I have to give the salient features of each and every subsidiary. Third important point, exemptions. You don't have to prepare a consolidated financial statement if you are a subsidiary. What type of subsidiary? Ultimate or partial? I don't care. Even if you are an ultimate subsidiary, rather wholly owned subsidiary or partially owned subsidiary, I don't care. Whatever type of subsidiary you are, as long as you're a subsidiary. First thing, your members have given a consent in writing that they don't mind, even if you don't give your financial statement, consolidated financial statements. Second condition, extremely important. Pay attention. Second condition, your ultimate holding company is preparing your consolidated financial condition. This is the third condition, rather. What is the second condition? Anyone?
Neither listed nor processed.
Very, very important point. We have solved a numerical in the class, if you remember. Neither listed nor in the process of listing. All the three conditions have to be satisfied. Only then you will be eligible to avail the benefits or exemptions. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. This is about your section 129. There are a couple of other simple points as well. Who has to sign it, when it is going to be executed, and a couple of points revolving around that. Who is the person responsible? Who's going to maintain it? What are the penalties in case if you don't maintain the financial statement? Section 129A talks about periodical financial statement. All right. If you are a company, all right, if you're a listed company, by default, you have to give your financial statement periodically. Every quarter, you'll get the details. Sir, but I'm not a company which is listed. Law says in case if you are other unlisted companies, I want to see your periodical financials as well. Now that is covered under section 129A, effective from January 2021. All right, which says if you are an unlisted public company, I want you to give your financial statements. Extremely important, that has to be audited, and that audit is called as limited review. What is LR? If you remember, I'd given an example of Wipro. A couple of my friends who were auditing, and they end up staying there only because by the time first quarter gets over, the second quarter will start. All right, so it's called as limited review. They are going to finish the review and the audit of first quarter, and then, or rather of every quarter, and that is called as limited review. Here, limited review could be periodical. It could be annual, it could be it could be quarter, it could be semi-annual, it could be fortnight. That is decided under section 129A. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding?
Yes,
Section 130. Sir, I want to reopen the books of account. Classic example, Satyam. Court's order to reopen your books of account. All right, up to how many years? Up
8
to
years.
8 years.
8 years.
Immediately preceding 8
Preceding
years,
the
your books of
previous
account can be reopened. Very, very important. This can happen only if an application is made wherein it is evident that anything has been carried out fraudulent. Only then these books of account can be cleared. All right, it can be reopened. Understanding, everyone? Yes, that's why I gave an example of Satyam. Section 131 says, sir, where it is a situation where voluntarily I want to revise my financial statements. I don't want to wait for someone else. I want to myself revise the financial statements. In that case, please go ahead. You can revise, but very important, not more than 3 preceding financial year. Extremely important, not more than 3 preceding financial year. Extremely important, can be asked in examination. But wait, can you blindly do it? You need an approval from the tribunal even for this. You need an approval from the tribunal even for this. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Next one. Section 132 talks about your NAFRA, NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. Earlier it was NACAS, and now it is called as NAFRA. Now, what is this authority? This authority has been constituted for the purpose of monitoring accounting standards, how financial reporting is going to be carried out based on the recommendations which are given by ICI. All right. They are also going to recommend auditing and accounting standards, which the central government is going to approve under section 133. Apart from that, they are going to monitor how chartered accountants, how auditors are carrying out their auditing services. This is under section 132. 133 talks about your central government prescribing accounting standards, something that we have already spoken about. 134, extremely important section, financial statement, board report, etc. First topic that we discussed was who's going to sign it. Who's going to sign it? All right. Section 134 talks about who's going to sign it. Not just your financial statements, but also your board's report. Do you remember the topic that we are talking about right now?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Second, what else is covered within your board's report? What all are you going to cover as a part of your board's report? If you remember, Infosys or maybe Wipro, we had taken one of the annual, I think Paytm's annual report we had taken, and we had seen what the board of directors had reported. Your energy conservation, what is the forex, how is the performance of your company, what are the meetings that you've held, director's responsibility statement. You're going to give your comments in case if the auditor has given any adverse remarks. If your company secretary has given any adverse remarks, you're going to give your comments. So it is going to be a complete detail which the directors are going to report. Understanding? Next, as a part of your reporting, we have mentioned there's something called as director's responsibility statement. All right. It is the responsibility of the directors to prepare the financial statements on a going concern basis. You're going to ensure that the IFC, if you're a listed company, then you're going to ensure that you're going to follow your internal financial controls. So a couple of a 6-pointer list we had discussed in your director's responsibility statement. This is under your section 134. Understanding everyone? There in the session?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then we went on to understand section 135, entire discussion on CSR, corporate social responsibility. To whom is it applicable? To whom is it applicable? Quick.
All companies.
Every company which is satisfying 3 conditions: turnover, net worth, net profit. What are the limits? Anyone? 1,000, 500,
500,
and 5 crores.
50 crores.
Easy to remember if you remember. All right. First, turnover can't be more than net worth. That's what we told. So it has to be 1,000 crores.
Net worth can't be more than
Net worth can't be more than turnover.
Pay attention. Turnover can't be more than the net worth. So that is going to be on the higher side. So how can net worth be? What is net worth? Difference between assets and liabilities. Understanding everyone? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Net worth 500 crores. The third condition is net profit. How much is the net profit? Only 5 crores. Only 5 crores. If you're satisfying any of these 3 conditions, any of these 3 conditions are satisfied, then you're required to contribute 2% of your annual average of preceding 3 years. Do you remember the discussion that we have had earlier? Yes.
Yes.
Next. In detail, probably CSR, we're going to touch upon later on. Rights under section 136, right of the members. Sir, in case if you want a copy of the financial statement, you can request, and the board of directors are mandated to give you the financial statements. Along with your financial statements, you should be given auditor's report. You should be given notes to accounts. You should be given, very important, explanatory statements, consolidated financial statements. All of these have to be given together. Only then it is going to be covered as an appropriate compliance with the request. All right. This is under section 136. 137, we've seen copy of the financial statement has to be filed with your registrar. You will have to file all that you've done with the registrar as well. And that has to be done within 30 days from the end of the AGM. All right. Then section 138, internal audit, important topic. All right. An internal audit has to be carried out by those companies which are covered here. Now, which companies are covered? Listed companies, unlisted companies. If ILCD, income, loans, capital, or deposit are satisfying the conditions of 200 crores, 100 crores, 50 crores, 25 crores. Then we saw private companies are also required to carry out an internal audit if they are satisfying I and L, income, loan, 200 and 100. Easy to remember. You can expect a question here. Understanding everyone? Yes. With this, we come to an end of Companies Act. Good. All right. We've spent 2 hours, 10 minutes odd. And we've seen at a 30,000 feet level, probably the entire 80 to 90 hours that we would have spent together. All right. I'm sure you might not be able to remember everything. Absolutely fine, normal, relax. But at least you should be able to recall the topics that we've discussed. All right. Now we start with your allied laws. Can we start? Can we continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is the screen visible?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. So let's get started with your allied laws now. Pay attention on the points that we're going to discuss. All right. Simple topics. Let's get started. The first topic that we are going to discuss is your Indian Contract Act of 1872. All right. The first topic that we discussed was your contract of indemnity and guarantee. Section 124 defines your contract of indemnity. What is contract of indemnity? A contract by which one party is promising to save the other from the losses which are caused by the conduct of the promiser himself or by any other person, and that is called as contract of indemnity. Two parties included here: indemnifier, indemnified. Classic example: fire insurance, marine insurance. So life insurance is not going to be considered as a contract of indemnity. How would I value your life? For me, the value is different from the value which your parents might associate to you. As simple as that. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Next, contract of indemnified, or rather rights of indemnified. There are 3 or 4 important rights. The first one is called as right to recover damages, right to recover the cost, right to recover sums which are paid under any compromise, and right to sue for the specific performance. Right of the indemnifier, Indian Contract Act is silent about it. Indian Contract Act is silent about it. Time and again, we've revised this topic. Yes. Next, losses, act of God. All right. If you remember, sir, in case if there is an act of God, will that be covered within the discussion of contract of indemnity? Answer is no. If you remember Bollywood scenes, somewhere we might have discussed. All right. Now, that is because the loss which is incurred by an accident or an act of God will not be covered within the ambit of contract of indemnity. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Prajwal there in the session. Anaga, contract of guarantee under section 126. Lipika, Sri Guru. Contract of guarantee is a contract wherein it is a promise to perform or discharge the liability of a third person in case if he defaults. 3 parties involved: principal debtor, creditor, surety. All right.
Surety.
Don't I said surety. I just mentioned surety. All right. I know what might be running in your guys. Are you able to appreciate the beauty of the class?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Even before I can commit the mistake, you're ready with the corrections. I'm happy to see that, so that you don't commit the same mistake in the examination, because that costs 6 months. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. So there are 3 important contracts which comes into picture. Since there are 3 parties, there are 3 contracts. One, between the principal debtor and the creditor. There's a contract between surety and the creditor. And there is an implied contract between the debtor and the guarantor. I hope I'm clear.
Surety.
Section 127. Consideration for guarantee. Sir, is there any consideration for guarantee? The fact that I'm occupying the position of a surety in itself is a sufficient consideration. I don't need anything beyond this. Again, you can expect a question here. All right. What are the essentials of a valid guarantee? We have seen it has to be written. There need not be a direct guarantee, direct consideration flowing between the surety and the creditor. Principal debtor may be a minor, collateral or secondary guarantee. This is collateral or secondary in nature. This can't be the primary guarantee. All right. Next. Difference between contract of indemnity and contract of guarantee. Important topic from examination perspective. Extremely important topic from examination perspective. Insist you to keep your cameras on. First point of distinction can be based on the number of parties. How many parties are involved? Second, what type of liability is here? Here, if you see, this is a primary and independent liability when it comes to indemnity, while this, in case of sureties, it is going to be the secondary liability. It's not the primary liability. All right. The third one, timing of liability. It is going to be, the person is going to be liable the moment any contingency happens. Here, it is going to come into picture only if the principal debtor fails, or else I'm not going to be bothered about it. Understanding, everyone? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Time of the act. The indemnifier need not necessarily act at the request of the indemnified. Insurance company is just not going to give you money because you've requested. No. They are going to validate if there was an actual loss or not. Most of the time, they don't even give money. All right? Next. In case of guarantee, the surety has to act immediately after the failure by the principal debtor. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. Next point. There in the session, right?
Yes,
Right to sue the third party. Can an indemnifier sue a third party? Answer is no. But can a creditor sue the surety? 100% yes. Although he has nothing to do in the contract, but still he can be sued upon. All right. And the last one is purpose. This is for the purpose of reimbursement of loss. This is for the purpose of security of the debts. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Nature of surety's liability is going to be secondary or coextensive with that of the primary liability. It's going to run parallel to whatever the primary liability is. Next, continuing guarantee asked in examination in one of the attempts. Just allow me a second. Audible?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes,
Yes.
Continuing guarantee under section 129. Same example, guys and girls entering into a transaction and they want me to be a surety in this entire transaction. I am going to be the surety, but it's not going to be for only one transaction. It's going to be for all the series of transactions that you're going to enter with each other. And I am going to be liable only for the unpaid balance at the end of all the transactions. At the end of the period, whatever is the unpaid balance, I will be liable only to that extent and nothing beyond that. This is the concept of your continuing guarantee. Do you remember? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Important
yes,
topic.
sir.
Section 132. Liability of two persons primarily liable, not affected by an arrangement between them, that one shall be acting as a surety of another. Promissory note, you and I, both of us have entered into a promissory note and given it to sir. All right. Now, in this situation, tomorrow when the payment has to be made, I am asking you to go make the payment. Is it right? Answer is no. Both of us are equally liable on this document because we both have signed the promissory note and given it to sir. Are you guys understanding? Although internally we have agreed that I am going to act only as a surety, but on the promissory note, both of us have signed as a primary debtor, as a principal debtor. So that will continue as it is. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Section 132 is important. When is the surety discharged of his liability? Surety is going to be discharged of his liability depending on three scenarios, three buckets: revocation, act of the creditor, or invalidation. What is revocation? Sir, because of any of the operation of law, it could be death, it could be novation, that will lead to the cancellation of the contract itself. The contract itself will come to an end. That is called as revocation. The second scenario is act of creditor. Sit straight, everyone. There in the session. Boring.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
All right. Act of the creditor. Whenever there's a variation in the terms, when I'm changing the terms, let's assume the creditor and debtor have changed the terms even without asking me. Will I be liable for it? Answer is no. I'm not going to be liable for it. Where the principal debtor is released, where the creditor says, you're hopeless, I don't want money from you. You're released. Will I be liable anymore? The answer is no. The answer is no. Third, compounding by creditor. He says, instead of giving me money, you can do another form of consideration. Let's assume, why don't you come and finish my homework? Why don't you finish my assignments? Another way of receiving the consideration. Now I can't go off to finish his assignments. That is something that he has agreed upon. Let him finish. I am no more liable under it. Are you guys understanding? The next one, impairing of surety's remedy, where the creditor has gone ahead and sold the property itself without asking me. Am I liable? Answer is no, because I don't have a remedy anymore to recover the money from the principal debtor. And the last one, loss of the security, where he's lost the security itself, on which I would have counted upon in case if I had to pay as a surety. I would have used that security to recover the money. But now that he's lost the security itself, I'm no more liable under the contract. I hope I'm clear, everyone. And the last one is invalidation because of lack of essential elements itself, misrepresentation, concealment. If there is a failure of consideration, if there is a co-sureties are not joining, in all of these situations, the surety is discharged. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Yes. Next one, rights of the surety. Rights against three people. Against the principal debtor, he has two rights. One is the right of subrogation and the right of indemnity. What is the meaning of the word subrogation? The moment creditor is paid by me, I will step into the shoes of the creditor and it is as good as I'm substituting now his position. That becomes the right of subrogation. Second, right of indemnification. Whatever I have incurred as an expenditure because of you, you are going to pay me now. Then, right against the creditors. First right, because I have made the payment to you on behalf of the creditor, on behalf of the debtor, you please give me the security that you have, which you might have taken from the debtor. That becomes my security now. And the second one is right of set off. Let's assume the creditor has to pay me 1 crore. I have to pay him 1 crore 20 lakhs on behalf of you. Now my liability is only to the extent of 20 lakhs, nothing beyond that. Right against the co-sureties is all the right to get this contribution from them. All right. Let's assume me and Hani sir, both of us have become the co-sureties in this situation. I have made the payment. I have all the rights to recover the amount from sir. Two scenarios here. Have we equally agreed to contribute? If so, then I have equal contribution rights to take from him. Second, where we are liable for different sums. Remember the example? Yes. where we are liable for different sums. Each one of you will be liable up to the amount that you've agreed upon. And later on, if anything is there, that will be taken up by the respective people. 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, 3 different scenarios that we've seen, if you recall.
Yes, sir.
All right? That becomes your liability to contribute different sums. This brings an end to the first unit, unit 1. Unit 2 is bailment and pledge. All right. You want to go out, meet your friend, and you've asked my vehicle. Will I give? Answer is no. You've asked my dad, my vehicle. Will he give? Maybe yes. Now, in this case, the bailment arises when one person transfers the possession of goods, 200% focus, transfers the possession of goods, not the ownership, only the goods, by one person to another, with a condition that it is going to be returned after the purpose is fulfilled, is called as bailment. Important question in examination usually asked is difference between bailment and sale. You can distinguish this based on transfer, based on goods, based on price, and based on return of goods. If it is a sale, transfer is permanent. It is along with the ownership. If it is a sale, goods could be movable or immovable. But when it comes to bailment, has to be movable items only. It can't be immovable. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? The third scenario, it is for a price. Sale is always for a price. Bailment could be gratuitous or non-gratuitous. The last one, buyer need not return the goods. Here, he has to return the goods. Example, tailor. All right. The next point, forms of bailment. Again, asked in examination, one of the attempts. What are the various forms of bailment? Delivery of goods by another for the bailer's use. Second scenario, goods given to a friend without any charges. Third scenario, hiring of goods. Fourth scenario, delivering of goods to a creditor as a security. What is this?
Pledge.
I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
This is pledge. Delivering of goods for repair with or without remuneration. And the last one is delivering goods for your carriage. Classic example, Blinkit, Danzo, courier. Understanding, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
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 Types of bailment, it can be of two types. It could be gratuitous or non-gratuitous. Duties of bailer. I've told you time and again, 200% focus. Duties of bailer becomes the rights of bailee. Do you remember once upon a time?
Yes,
we
sir.
discussed all this.
Sir.
Duties of bailer becomes the rights of bailee. Duties of bailee becomes the rights of the bailer. Duties of pawner becomes the rights of the pawnee, which is nothing but the duties or rights, or rather, I would say it this way. All right. Duties of bailer is nothing but the duties of pawner, which is something similar to rights of the bailee or the rights of the pawnee.
Understood, sir.
Why are we discussing this? Is because you have to put in efforts in remembering only one, and the rest you can replicate with the changes in the language accordingly. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Yes. So the first one is duties of bailer. Section 150, you have to disclose all the known facts. Section 158, bear necessary expenses. Section 159 talks about indemnify the bailee if he has incurred any expenditure on your behalf. And the last one is section 164, bound to accept the goods once the activity or the purpose is accomplished. Rights of the bailer. Right to enforce the duties of the bailee and claim for damages. Right to terminate the contract itself. Right to demand the goods back, and right to claim the increase or the profits arising, if any. All right. Now, this is something similar to what we have discussed earlier as well. Section 154, liability of bailee making unauthorized use of the goods. Very important. 154 says, sir, please don't make any unauthorized usage. All right. If you make any usage unauthorized, whatever losses are going to be incurring or arising out of that unauthorized usage, you will be liable for it. Who? Bailee. I'm the bailer, you're the bailee. Don't forget that. All right. Now, second scenario where you mixed it. You mixed it without my consent. Two scenarios. Can it be separated? Or the second scenario, it cannot be separated. If I can separate it, the cost of separation will be your headache. If it cannot be separated, goes unsaid, you have to replace the entire thing or pay me the price of the goods that I have given to you. As simple as that. Classic example, wheat, or rather rice. I think I'd given this example of Sona Masuri and Basmati. You mixed it. How will you separate? I don't know. You mixed it. How will you? And you've not mixed the sacks. All right. You mix the content in the sacks. I hope you're understanding. Everyone? Yes. Next.
Yes.
Termination of bailment. Sir, when will bailment come to an end? First scenario, expiry of the period. Second scenario, the moment an objective is achieved. Third one, operation of law, inconsistent usage of the goods. And the last one, destruction of the subject matter itself. These are the 5 scenarios in which the bailment comes to an end. Next, duties of bailee. Like I've told you, maybe once we have discussed the duties and rights of bailer, the rest is going to be replicated. All right, not replicated, it is similar in law. Section 167, right of the third person claiming goods bailed. Very important. So someone new person itself is coming into picture and he's saying that the goods belongs to me. Whatever I had given, my vehicle had given to you. All right, I bailed it to you. Suddenly my neighbor comes and says that was not Mehul's vehicle, it is my vehicle. Now in this situation, what are you going to do? You can make an application to the court and court is going to decide who's going to be the real owner, and until that is decided, goods need not be returned. As simple as that. Understood? Yes, this is under section 169. 167, sorry. 168 talks about finder of the lost goods. Kohinoor diamond, you were walking in the streets and you found the diamond. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Serious coincidence or not, I don't know, because I have given the same example to both the batches. So both of you are nodding. I'm happy about that. Section 168 talks about finder of the lost goods. First thing, it is your right. It is, first of all, can I keep the product with me? Answer is no, you can't. All right, you have to return it. Second thing, so it has to be your responsibility to claim all the expenses that you're incurred for the reimbursement, for the purpose of preserving. All right. Second thing, let's assume if the real owner has announced a reward, do you get a claim of it? Answer is yes. That becomes a primary right, even over above your reimbursements. Two things. First, I'm talking about reimbursement. I had to preserve the goods, right? I can't keep Kohinoor somewhere outside in the hall, in the living area, right? I have to keep it in the treasure. Now, I am paying for the treasure. Who's going to reimburse that expenditure? You can ask the real owner. First right. Second right. Let's assume the real owner has announced a reward. Are you entitled for it? 100% yes. But which one should be paid first? Reward or reimbursement? Law says reward will have a primary right even over the reimbursement. Can I sue the real owner for the reimbursement? Answer is no. You can't sue the real owner for the reimbursement. For the reward, can I sue? 100% yes. 100% yes. Understanding everyone? Yes?
Yes, sir. Understanding, sir.
Can I sell these goods?
No, sir.
Oh, sir.
General piece of law? No. General piece of law, answer is no, you cannot sell these goods. However, you can, provided the conditions are satisfied. First condition, where in the normal course of trade, all right, the real owner cannot be found. You made all the reasonable efforts, or if the real owner refuses to pay the lawful charges, subject to the following two conditions. Two conditions. First one, article is in the danger of losing its value, or the lawful charges itself is more than 2/3 of the value of the article that you found. In that case, you have all the rights to sell and recover the price. Section 170 talks about Bailey's particular lien. There are two types of liens. One, general lien. The second one, Dikshu, there in the session?
Yes, sir.
All right. So two types of liens. General lien, particular lien. What is general lien? Where I can exercise my right against any of your assets. That comes into picture usually bankers, wharfingers, factors, policy brokers, attorney generals. When it comes to your general lien, or rather particular lien, Taylor is the classic example. He has to return the goods, the material for which you have already paid. He can exercise the lien only on those items, only on those products for which you have not paid. That is called as particular lien. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Crystal clear with the concept? Please expect a question.
sir.
Please expect a question from this. Expect a question from this topic. All right. Next. Pledge, where you have the entire concept of pawner and pawnee. 200% focus. All right. Section 172 discusses about What exactly is pledge? The bailment of goods for the security of payment or performance of performance or security of performance is called as pledge. It is a form of bailment. Section 172. Don't forget, this definition itself starts with the bailment. Pledge is a type of bailment. I hope I'm clear. So can I make a statement? All bailments are not pledge, but all pledges are bailments. Can I make this true or false?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
True, sir.
You can expect 2 markers in this format. In this format, you can expect 2 markers. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right.
Yes, sir.
Section 173, right of retainer. Section 174, right to retention of subsequent debts. All right. Section 175 is talking about your other rights, which is rights for extraordinary expenses. If you have incurred any extraordinary expenses, then you have all the rights as the pawner to recover, as a pawnee, to recover the money from that person. All right. As a pawnee, you have all the rights to recover the extraordinary expenses that you might have incurred on behalf of the pawner. Who's the pawner? I have given my goods to you for the purpose. Let's take an example of Manapuram Gold Loan, Muthoot Finance. Same examples? Yes. So now I have given my gold to Muthoot Finance for the purpose of raising a loan. I become the owner and the other person becomes the pawnee. Crystal clear?
Yes.
Yes.
It's something similar to I become the bailer and the other person becomes the bailee. Clear with the concept, everyone? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Rights are something similar that we have already discussed. Can a non-owner create a pledge? General piece of law? No. So when you're not even an owner, how can you create pledge? Only exceptions are, first one, mercantile agent under a voidable contract, where you have limited interest, where you are a co-owner in possession, where you are seller or buyer in possession. Seller or buyer in possession. Very interesting example. If you remember, seller or buyer, I've sold the goods, but the goods are still lying with me and I pledged those. I bought the goods. The goods are lying with me, but I haven't got the title yet. I haven't got the title yet. Can I become the owner? Am I the owner? Answer is no, but it is still lying with me. In that case, I can still go ahead and pledge. 2 scenarios that we had discussed earlier, if you remember. All right. Now, difference between pledge and bailment, extremely important. Please expect a question here. The last topic in this entire chapter is of agency. Section 182 talks about agent, a person who is employed to act, to carry out an act for another, all right, for the purpose of delivering his performances, all right, is called as a, that third person is called as a agent, all right. There are 2 parties involved here, or rather there are 3 parties involved here. You have a principal, you have an agent, and you have a third party for whom the principal is supposed to act. The principal is supposed to act in favor of the third party, but since the principal is busy, he's getting it done from the agent. As simple as that. Understood, everyone? Yes. Now, test of agency can be asked in examination. The person has the capacity to bind the principal. First thing. All right. If this is satisfied. Second, whether can he establish a privity of contract between the principal and third parties? Again, what is privity of contract? Although the principal is not entering into contracts, I am entering into contracts with the third party. But can I still hold the principal liable for it? Answer is yes. If the answer to all of these is yes, then it becomes a contract of agency. Sleepy, boring, dry?
No, sir. No, sir.
No,
sir.
Who can employ an agent and who can become an agent? First thing, section 183 says, sir, any person who is qualified to appoint as an agent must not be, same error, all right, must not be a minor, and he should be of sound mind, or he should not be of unsound mind. I hope I'm clear.
Yes.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
In simple terms, he has to be a major and he has to be of sound mind. As simple as that. Understood, everyone? Crystal clear?
Yes.
And it's the same thing for both, who can employ and who can be employed, for both of these. All right. Next, creation of agency. Agency can be of 3 types. First one, express agreement, where expressly I'm clearly mentioning that you are an agent. Implied agreement. All right. Nothing has been mentioned, but because of our actions, all right, we are usually implicitly working as an agent. In that case, it becomes an implied agreement. Third one, ratification. I did ask you to go purchase gold for me, but you still went ahead and purchased gold for me because the prices had slashed. Now I have 2 things, 2 rights. Either I agree to whatever you purchased. That means I have ratified your agency. Second, I reject it completely. Can I ratify in piecemeal? Can I ratify partially? Answer is no. Either accept the entire gold. Let's assume you've gone ahead and purchased 1 crore worth of gold for me. First of all, would you? Answer is no. Second, let's assume golden-hearted person buying gold for me on my behalf and now asking me the price for it. I have two options. Either I agree and ratify the complete contract, or I don't agree and I cannot ratify partially. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Crystal clear, everyone? Yes.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
agent's authority, in the normal circumstances, he can do everything that the principal would have otherwise done. In case of emergency, he has to do everything to protect the losses of the principal, which a man of ordinary prudence would have done in his own case. Classic example, on the way, I am carrying a milk van and there's a strike on the way. All right. There's a road blockage. Now I can't wait to reach the destination. So I immediately sell it immediately then and there. Why? To reduce the losses. Acceptable? 100% acceptable. Crystal clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Delegation and creation of sub-agency. Can I delegate my work to someone else? Answer. Can sub-agency be created?
Sir, general piece of law, no, sir.
I was just waiting for that. Very important, sir. General piece of law. Don't straight away jump to answer and say, yes, sir. Because I do it at home, I can do it everywhere. No. Listen to me very carefully. General piece of law. No, you cannot create, you cannot delegate your work. Exceptional pieces, yes, that is possible. Delegare potest non delegare. Do you remember the Latin principle that we had learned? Yes. So delegation is not possible unless and otherwise provided by the law. All right. There are three scenarios: delegatus, non potest, delegare, Latin principle. All right. Exceptions where delegation is available. All right. Where it is contemplated in the contract itself. Second, where it is because of the customs of, because the practice itself is such that you have to appoint. Third one, where in the course of agent's employment, unforeseen emergencies are coming into picture. In that case, you can please go ahead and carry out a delegation. Sub-agency will be possible only in those scenarios. Understood, everyone? Yes. Next. Sub-agency, valid appointment of your sub-agent. If the appointment is valid, then whatever the sub-agent does, principal is bound by it. Case 2, where sub-agency is not valid. Whatever the sub-agent does, principal is not bound by it. But whatever the sub-agent does, agent continues being liable for it. I hope you remember orange, green, some colorful charts that we had drawn, 3 boxes. Yes, no, I am not sure. But anyways,
Yes,
all right.
sir.
So that is about your section 191, 192, 193. Substituted agent. Auctioneer. Example, auctioneer. What is the concept of substituted agent? Sir, where the sub-agent moves out of the picture and someone else comes in his place, that is called a substituted agent. All right, I repeat. Pradyumna has hired me, all right, for the purpose of selling his property. I know for sure I will not be able to do it. So what I do, I am I'm an agent. Right now, I'm an agent. I am asking another auctioneer. It is his daily performance. He is engaged in this route to duty. So now that person is going to auction the property. What is he going to be called? He's going to be called as substituted agent because I move out of the contract and that person is going to fill in my place. Understood? That is called a substituted agent. Usually asked in examination, difference between sub-agent and substituted agent in examination. All right, important topic. Sub-agent, all 3 of us are in the picture. Pradyumna, Mehul, and auctioneer. Not an example of auctioneer right now. All right, it could be some other example altogether. This becomes sub-agency. All 3 of us are going to be there in the picture. If it is substituted agent, I move out of the picture, the agent moves out of the picture, and someone else is going to fill in his place. That becomes a substituted agent. Understood, everyone? Yes?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Next. Termination of agency. When will the agency come to an end? By principal revoking it, by agent renouncing it, by the principle of agency being completed, by either of them, all right, becoming of unsound mind, all right, or operation of law. Duties of the agent to conduct everything that has to be in the principal's direction. It is for his skill and due diligence. Render proper accounts. Communicate if there is any difficulty. repudiate the contracts by the principal. He can bring it to an end, not to deal on his own account and agent's duty to pay the sum received from the principal. Does he have any rights? 100%. He has all the rights to receive the sum, to be remunerated. He has the right, agent's lien on the principal's property if he is not being remunerated. He has all the rights to be indemnified for all the lawful acts. And if he's done something in good faith, if you remember in yesterday's session, good faith, all right, if he's done something in good faith, he can still go ahead and be remunerated for it, all right, or indemnified for it. Now, this is about your right of agent. Agent's liability is going to be for the acts of the agent. If the principal is not bound, if he's exceeding his authority, all right, principal is not bound. When excess authority is not separable, consequences of notice has to be given to the agent, and performance of the contract with the agent supposed to be only with the principal. Very, very important. What are we talking about? In case if the agent is liable for anything, what is he liable for? He would be liable for anything which he does beyond his authority. I have not asked you to go ahead and sell my 3 properties. I had asked you to sell only 1 property. Who asked you to sell the other 2? You've sold it, now pay for it. As simple as that. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes. When can agency become irrevocable? It cannot be brought to an end only in a scenario where the agent himself is personally interested in the subject matter. All right. Where I am personally interested in the subject matter, in that case, your agency is irrevocable. It will continue as it is until and unless I lose out the interest in the subject matter. Understood? Yes. So classic example, you've asked me to sell the property. All right. And you've told that I will get 30% of the property proceeds. Now I have personal interest in this property. All right. Let's assume out of the property that you're selling, I have 50% of it belongs to me as well. I'm the seller. I'm selling it. At the same time, I'm also having 50% interest in the property. Can I give up on my agency? Would you give up on your agency? Let's assume if you were the agent, will you give up on the agency? Answer is no. Why? You have interest in the property. You have interest in the property. I hope everyone's clear with the example now. All right. This is the concept of your irrevocable agency. Effect of termination: the moment everything is terminated, give a notice, or else the person will continue acting on behalf of the company itself. Now, negotiable instrument, section 13. Not on behalf of the company. What I meant was on behalf of the principal. I'm sorry. All right. The last chapter for discussion, negotiable instruments, General Clauses Act. Since in the sessions as well, we have a little bit of portion left, probably a little bit, and your interpretation of statute. These 2 we haven't finished yet during our regular sessions as well, so we're not going to touch upon that as of now. We're going to stick to our discussion on negotiable instrument right now. When do you have your next session?
7
o'clock.
Brilliant. Doesn't mean that I'm going to stretch these hours. Relax. All right. Negotiable instrument 1881. All right. Negotiable instrument has been defined under section 13. 13 says, sir, if it is a promissory note, bill of exchange, checks is called as negotiable instrument. No, the answer does not end there. If you're just nodding your head for the sake of it, answer does not end there. It has to be either payable to the order or to the bearer. Extremely important words. All right. Next, promissory note has been defined under section 4. A promissory note is an instrument in writing. Pay attention. Pay attention. Promissory note is an instrument in writing, which is not a banknote or currency note. If you remember, during our session, we have seen what is a banknote and currency note. Yes. Containing an unconditional undertaking signed by the maker to pay a certain sum of money to or to the order of the certain person or to the bearer of the instrument. Bill of exchange, instead of undertaking, here it is an unconditional order. Here it is an unconditional undertaking. Here it is an unconditional order. Everyone understanding? Unconditional undertaking, unconditional order. For what? Directing. Here I'm promising to pay. Here I'm directing to pay. To whom? Either to me or to any other person as per my instruction, or to the bearer of the instrument. Section 6 talks about your check. Check is a bill of exchange. Very, very important. Check is a bill of exchange. It's a type of bill of exchange itself. All right. Which is drawn on the banker. So who's the drawer and the drawee? Drawer is going to be me. Drawee is going to be the banker. Don't get confused here. All right. Very, very important. And it includes your electronic image or truncated check and a check in electronic form as well. Acceptor for honor. Who's an acceptor for honor? You and I enter into a transaction. All right. You're supposed to pay on the due date. Knowing you will not pay. All right. So someone else on the due date comes up and accepts this. That is called as an acceptor for honor. That third party who's coming into picture for the purpose of accepting an instrument so that it does not get dishonored, or which is already on the verge of getting dishonored, but not to go through the again entire cycle of negotiable instrument, we can have this third party accepting it. And that will be called as acceptor for honor. I hope I'm clear, everyone. All right. Next, we went on to understand the concept of holder under section 8, one of the most important topics. All right. Holder is a person. Understanding, everyone? Yes, they're in the session.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Holder of a negotiable instrument means any person who is entitled in his own name to receive or recover the money. That person is called as a holder. A person who finds or steals a bearer instrument is not a holder. Why? Because in his name he cannot sue upon for the purpose of it. Another example: your dad has given you a gift. There's a damage in it. Can you sue your dad?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Don't get emotional and say no.
Yes.
So the point here is maybe yes, but the answer is no. Two reasons. One, gift does not give you a right in your own name to recover the damages. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding the point that I made, everyone? Yes. Next point. Holder in due course under section 9. All right. Section 9 says, sir, in case if you have accepted any instrument, a holder who has accepted any instrument in good faith, that person for a consideration, that person will be called as a holder in due course. Point to be noted: for holder, consideration is not necessary. For holder in due course, consideration is extremely important. If I go by this logic, you can sue upon your dad as a holder. If I go by this logic, you can sue upon your dad since you are a holder, because consideration is not necessary for you to become a holder, but for the purpose of holder in due course, consideration is mandatory. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding, everyone? Pradyumna there in the session. Ravish? Yes. Holder
Yes,
in due
sir.
course means a person who for a consideration became the possessor of the instrument. Very, very important. And has sufficient cause to believe that there's no defect in the title. What is the meaning of this? You've taken it in good faith. Any examples that we had quoted here?
Abhimanyu.
Discussion.
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu.
Anything else? Your Spider-Man, Superman, Batman,
Batman.
you remember?
Yes.
Once it passes through your Spider-Man, even though there might be defects, you purge all the defects. The language that we use, PURGE, you purge all the defects in the instrument. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. Next. This is about your holder in due course. Classification of negotiable instrument. It can be of 4 types: bearer and holder and order instrument. Bearer, whoever has it. Order, name has to be specified. Only that person can enjoy the rights in it. Inland and foreign instrument. 3 conditions to be satisfied: drawn in India, made in India,
Made
payable in India. If all the 3 conditions are satisfied, then it is an inland instrument. If any of these are missing, then it becomes a foreign instrument. Then incoherent and ambiguous instrument, where any sort of incompleteness is there, it becomes an incoherent instrument. Incoherent means there is incompleteness. Classic example: dad giving you a blank check because you've cleared your intermediate examination. All right, our seniors might be enjoying this right now. That becomes an incomplete instrument. It's an incoherent instrument. What is ambiguous instrument? No clarity at all. Something like our lives. All right, whether it is a bill of exchange or whether it is a promissory note, don't know. That is called as ambiguous instrument. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes, that becomes a situation where we have discussed if it is sans recourse. All right, or a scenario where I have drawn the instrument and it comes back to me itself. There comes in the concept of your ambiguous instrument. Understanding? And the last one is demand and time instrument. Demand instrument, as the name itself says, only when you demand, you're going to be paid for it. Classic example: check. Time instrument, the moment time is prescribed there, the moment it is satisfying the time period, it has to be made payable within that span of time which has been prescribed. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Aishwarya there in the session. Endorsement, 2 different concepts, correct?
No,
Section 15.
Same
Same concept.
concept.
For God's sake, please don't give me heart attacks by saying, sir, endorsement means the one who is taking it. Endorsement means one who is giving. Please, not required. Time and again, we've discussed this. Section 15 talks about a principle wherein one person is transferring the benefit of his to another person by mentioning his name, or maybe by not mentioning as well, is called as endorsement. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Crystal clear with the concept? Everyone?
Yes.
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 Types of endorsement. It can be endorsement in blank. I don't write anyone's name. Endorsement in full. I give entire details. Partial endorsement. There is no such concept. There is no such concept. Partial endorsements are not valid. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
We've discussed this. Restrictive endorsement, where it is with a few terms and condition, and conditional endorsement could be with conditions attached to endorsements. You can't return it, you can't do this, you can't do that. All of these conditions are covered within the ambit of your conditional endorsements. Now, conditional endorsements can be of 4 types. Sans recourse endorsement. My liability ends the moment it passes through me. I'm no more liable for it. All right, it can't come back to me. Liability dependent upon a contingency. On the happening of an event, I will be liable. That becomes your liability dependent upon a contingency. What is facultative endorsement? Anyone?
Restricting the rights or adding more liability.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Sir, facultative endorsement, where I impose extra restrictions or I add rights of mine. That is called as facultative endorsement. Sans phrase endorsement, wherein I take up the responsibility of bearing the expenses if necessary. That will be covered within the ambit of your sans phrase endorsements. Understanding, everyone? Yes. Next, maturity date as a concept that we had solved a couple of numericals, if you remember, during the session as well. Next topic is capacity to contract. Who can contract? Every person who is capable of contracting under your Indian Contract Act, and any person who is authorized agent can also become a party to it. Can a minor become a party to the negotiable instrument? Answer is yes. He can do everything except for binding himself to any of the parties. He can do everything except for binding himself to any of the parties. All right. Next one, acceptance of a bill drawn in fictitious name. A person does not exist. And if you are aware of it, but still if you accept it, tomorrow, can you say that I am not going to accept it because this person does not exist? Answer is no, since you have accepted. Classic example. Anyone can give me an example?
Ravana.
The examples were lame, but I hope you're able to reconnect. All right.
Yes.
You've taken a check in the name of Ravana and you're saying, and you accepted it as well. Tomorrow, when you're supposed to make the payment, can you say that I'm not going to make the payment because it is belonging to someone else? Answer is no. Why did you even accept it? Why did you even accept it? Are you guys understanding? Yes, this is the concept of acceptance of a bill which is drawn in the fictitious name. Material alterations, any changes which you make in the date, time, amount, place, all right, without the consent of the prior parties is going to be called as material alteration. What is not material alteration is extremely important in examination, all right, wherein you're filling in the blanks, converting a blank endorsement into a full, crossing of check, general crossing to special crossing, or any other alterations with the consent is not going to be considered as material alteration. Stolen or lost instrument, whenever there is a lost instrument or stolen instrument, it is your responsibility to request the other party. All right, first thing, we are talking about stolen instrument. If you have found any instrument which was lying somewhere, which has been lost by someone, will you get any real ownership in it? Answer is no. You're not going to get any real ownership. But let's assume you've endorsed this instrument to someone else, to an HIDC. Will the HIDC get a valid title? 100%. Yes. The only thing which a HIDC cannot do, why do we call him Abhimanyu? Because the only thing which Abhimanyu didn't know was to exit.
Forgery.
The same way, the only thing which your HIDC cannot remove is forgery. I hope I'm clear, everyone. Understanding? Yes. The next point is, sir, let's assume it was my instrument which I've lost. Can I ask the other party to issue another one? 100% yes, as long as you can give a guarantee that you're going to indemnify if there are any losses. Negotiable instrument without consideration. Can I have this? Answer is no. General piece of law. General piece of law. Can you have a negotiable instrument without consideration? Answer is no. However, there are only 2 exceptions to it. One is going to be your accommodation bill, and the second one is going to be where it is for a partial performance. All right. Then holders right to a duplicate of lost bill, something that we've already discussed. In case if you've lost the bill, then you have all the rights, but you will have to agree upon to indemnify the other party. Discharge of the parties in the instrument because of the payment in due course, or it could be by release, or it could be because of the cancellation. Any of these situations will lead to the discharge of the instrument in itself. All right. Where the drawee has given more than 48 hours to the other party to accept, all the prior parties are discharged of their liabilities. Very, very important. Another interesting case that we've solved. All right. Dishonor by non-acceptance, where on the due date, the other person says, I'm not going to accept it. all right, then in that situation is going to be called as dishonor by non-acceptance. There can be two scenarios. One is dishonor by non-payment and the other one is called as dishonor by non-acceptance. Non-acceptance where the party himself is saying, sir, this is not even my instrument, I'm not going to accept it. Dishonor by payment, sir, I know it is my liability, but I don't have money right now, you come later. That becomes dishonor by non-payment. Are you guys understanding? Dishonor by non-acceptance is where I'm not even accepting the instrument. That becomes your dishonor by non-acceptance. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Then notice of dishonor. Whenever there's a whenever there's a dishonor, it is your responsibility to ensure that notice has been given to all the prior parties. In case if you fail to give the notice, the prior parties are discharged of their liabilities. The prior parties are discharged of their liabilities. Next point. Dishonor, notice of dishonor is unnecessary, is not required if it is falling under any of the criteria under section 97. Example, where I myself dispensed. I've told, don't give me any notice. Where I have countermanded with the payment. All right. Where I have charged, where in case if I don't get the notice, I will not be incurring any significant losses. All right. Where the party entitled to notice cannot be found even after you search it. Where it is because of unavoidable circumstances, you can't give the notice. Classic example, COVID. Where acceptor is also the drawer, where the notice is to be paid unconditionally. Whether you give me the notice or not, I'm still going to make you the payment. When these kind of acceptances are given, then in that case, notice is not necessary. The last point, discharge of parties by cancellation, discharge, operation of law, any of the allowing more than 48 hours, non-payment of checks. I know I've surpassed my time. It's 5:05. Yes, just give me another 5 minutes. We'll be done with it. All right. By non-qualified, by taking up any of the qualified acceptances, by material alteration, any of these scenarios will lead to the discharge of parties. All right. Those parties will not be liable anymore. The last topic of discussion, penalties in case of dishonor of check. What do we call this? What is this topic? Anyone?
Check bounce.
You can't use this language. As simple as that. All right. You cannot use this language. Time and again, I've made the statement. This is a colloquial phrase that we use. Check bouncing is not a language which you can use in your examination. What is the language that we use? I knew that I have myself introduced you guys to this concept. It is as good as that. Why did you even at first place bring in this topic? Because if I wouldn't have told you this, you wouldn't have understood about the topic that you are seeing day in and out. All right. So the whole point is dishonor of check due to insufficiency of fund under section 138 says, sir, where any check has been dishonored by an account which is maintained by you with a banker, very important, that account should be maintained by you. Or else, you remember solving one question where the director or the promoter was dishonoring the check. It was not even his account. Do you remember this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. For the payment of amount to another person for the discharge of any of your debts has been returned by the banker as unpaid because you don't have sufficient money. All right. Or it exceeds the arrangement. You've told the banker not to pay more than 50 lakhs. You have money, but you've told the banker not to clear any of the checks more than 50 lakhs. And that has got returned in any of these situations. It will be considered as dishonor of check for insufficiency of funds. Now, what will happen? Simple. The moment you're covered here, very important, it shall be deemed as an offense, punished with an imprisonment for a term of up to 2 years, or fine up to twice the amount of the check, or with both. What kind of offenses are these?
Compound.
You can jump the compound. Easy to remember by paying the fine. All right, compoundable offenses, but it's not just easily you can jump. I hope you remember the discussion as well. Someone else has to approve this. Non-applicability of this section does not apply if you have given the other person a notice and that person has made the payment within 15 days. Then you cannot apply this concept of then this penalty is not leviable. All right. In case if it is a company, any person, whoever is responsible for the company, all right, for the business and affairs of the company, that person will be deemed to be guilty of this offense. However, it does not include a scenario where the exception is a scenario where you are not having knowledge or you have exercised your due diligence. In that scenario, you will not be covered within this ambit. I think that's about it. General Clauses Act, we have probably 1 or 2 important subtopics left. We're going to touch upon that, and then we are going to get into interpretation of statutes. So I think we've spent 3 hours, decent 3 hours, covering almost 80-90 hours that we've discussed. I'm sure You might not be able to remember everything as of now, but this gives you the first step towards your efforts in the next 7 days. Prepare so well that you might not ever want a revision, or even if there's a revision, the topic might have been discussed at 60,000 feet level, but you should be knowing at a granular level. All right. Put in efforts. You might have heard your friends making good statements, fancy statements in the pass out meet that they were able to do it because of the efforts that they have put in. It's your time now. Till now, you were sitting in the pavilion. Now you're on the ground. All right. You're at the pitch. Now you will have to put in your efforts. The only thing that I want to strike is last time paper was easy. Still our friends. I'm not sure if anyone sitting here would vouch for the statement, but paper was easy, was pretty simple. Yes, if you've written. My fear is this time it could be a bouncer. All right. I'm not scaring you, but at the same time, I want you to be prepared for the worst paper. And that's only possible if you put in efforts. You have to be prepared for the worst papers. And if you see the way we have gone about with our sessions and the classes, we have always seen the worst scenarios, the most complicated questions which can come up from any sub question possible. All right. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to say that I've covered entire sections, all the study material points. No, that's not possible. Viably, because we hardly have 90 to 100 hours, and to cover everything as such point by point might not be possible. But at the same time, we haven't skipped out on any of the topics. All right. My only suggestion to each one of you, your next test is going to be on Sunday, coming Sunday or Saturday? Sunday. So today is Saturday, right? So you have exactly 7 days. Plan your preparation. Go about reading your study material first. Don't skip out on your study material. You will have to put in efforts. You will have to read the study material once. You can't assume CAPS material to be a copy paste of study material. That will not serve the purpose. If that was the case, I would have just renamed the CAPS material, your study material, as CAPS material. That is not the objective. It has to be your last minute revision. It has to be your last minute preparation book. All right. How do you go about? My simple suggestion to each one of you: read the chapters in the way, the manner that we have approached them during our sessions. 3 or 4 chapters from Companies Act. Immediately switch, finish 1 chapter of your allied law. Come back to your Companies Act, switch to your allied law. This will give you coverage. This will ensure that you get the best, the maximum coverage from marks perspective. All right. Because don't forget, what is the proportion of your Companies Act and allied law?
60-40.
4 chapters, 40 marks. 10 chapters, 60 marks. Cost benefit analysis. My costing students, financial management students are sitting here. I don't have to teach them that. They're smart enough to cover it. All right. Those 40 marks is easier to score because topics are simpler. 60 marks. I'm not going to say it's difficult, but you will have to put in efforts in remembering the granular points. All right. Will not take much time. Happy weekend. I understand you have a session at 7 o'clock and you must be exhausted. 3 hours sitting and listening to someone yelling at the top of his voice. But at the end of the day, I hope you've got a decent coverage of whatever we've discussed. The rest we are going to cover in our regular sessions, and we are going to catch up again for another round of revision. Until then, enjoy whatever you do. Thank you so much. Let's catch up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank
See you guys.
Good day,
Bye.
sir.